Okay, so after writing the script, I found out that there were a ton of things in the games I cover that I missed. Do not take this video as a game review, and also in part 2, I'll look at the things I missed. Whoops. Wow, remember Flash games? Yeah. Well, anyway, do you know who Bart Bonte is? No? Well, do you know what Factory Balls is? If you recognize that game name or this gameplay, then you probably know who he is because he made that game. But he made a ton more Flash games than that, and they were pretty good. But then in 2020, the Flash player was discontinued, which also took away the ability to play those games in the browser. Don't worry, he took a ton of Flash games he made and put them into one huge collection, the Bart Bonte collection. It's available on Steam if you want to take a look at it, and once you open the game, you get a selection of the games. Let's take a look at all of them. The first one here is called Cat in Japan. Basically, the way to beat this game is by finding 20 sushi for this one cat. Some of them are in plain sight, but for some you have to click on objects that might be on top of the sushi. Not only that, there are puzzles you need to solve. You can also grab stuff that you might need to finish puzzles. There are clues everywhere. Once you do get all the sushi, the cat eats all of it and then someone throws a gong at it. The end. But that's not the end of these cat adventures. This one is called Where is Cat? That's a stupid question, it's right here. Oh, never mind, it's over here. Oh, what? Whoops, it's here. No, it's here. Why does the dang cat keep moving? I'll get you. Basically, the aim of this game is to find a specific object in 7 locations. It changes each time you find it. First, you have to find the cat, and then the cat wants you to find plates, and some cups, and then you need to find cupcakes, and then you need to find a mouse. There's a mouse in every room of this house. Call an exterminator, for goodness sakes. And all the things you found are set up in the garage, and then a giant cake appears, and then you click on that button, and the cat eats everything. Not the mice, though. But then we move on to a classic you guys have probably heard of. Factory Balls. For this game, you get a bunch of balls, and then a design you have to put on them. You have to drag a ball over a tool to give it the correct properties. There are only 14 levels, so I was able to beat this one pretty fast. There's also an extra tumble mode, so that's pretty fun. Well, the next game is Factory Balls 2, and this time there's 30 levels. This is pretty much the same thing as last time. There are more tools to use and also a bunch more gimmicks, being able to put grass and flowers on the balls, but needing to water them the right amount. And then the next game is Factory Balls 3, 30 levels again, same deal as last time, nothing really has changed. You can make the colors later. Let's hope this next game is more original. So now we got Factory Balls 4. I don't think I want to play this one. Oh, there's Angry Birds. Well, now I gotta play this. There's 30 levels, and this is obviously the most fleshed out game in the series. It's smoother and also has a tutorial. The difficulty kinda needs you to have played the first 2 or 3 games though, so we don't really need it. Same thing as last time. It's a little bit harder and has more stuff, and it doesn't even have a tumble mode. I want my tumble mode! That's the last Factory Balls game in this collection. We have another series coming up, but don't worry, the sequels are way more unique. This series is called Me and the Key. For this series, you get a puzzle, but you need to get a key. It's fun. To beat each level, you have to do something different. There's sliding box puzzles, drag stuff, spell stuff, and also some full-on mini-games like Breakout, and also Snake. For some reason, the version of Snake only uses clicking, which only lets you turn one way, so it's a bit more difficult. First and second games are pretty much the same type of thing, but the third one is a bit more different. The art style is way different and simple. Penguins are in an actual place this time, and there's no music. Well, at least not until the last level. If I have to give criticism for the third game, it seems way more repetitive than all the others, but it's still a fun time. Still, you just gotta get a key in each level. If you like puzzle games that aren't as predictable, and you like penguins, this is a good series for you. Anyway, the next game we have is called In Dreams. It was made for the Nitrome Game Jam in 2014. The game starts off with you falling asleep, and then a mini version of you goes into an alarm clock, and then you have to blast off, and then you go to the moon, and click on this wormy thing, but then you have to make a bunch of worms yellow, and then you start playing Snake again, but it's not really Snake because you don't grow length when you get stars. But then you start playing Snake again, but with like 6 worms, and then all the worms die and make a sound, but it was actually an alarm clock, and then you get a tumor in your brain, and then the game ends. Definitely a bit more chaotic game. It's also shorter than the most of the games here. There seems to be a more extended version of the game called Sweet Dreams on mobile devices though. Anyway, the next game in this collection is called 40X Escape. In this game, you are trapped in multiple little rooms. What you need to do in each room is light up all the letters in the sign above the door that says escape. To do that, you need to try to complete each one of the puzzles in each room by seeing its clues and just trying stuff out 40 times. Since it's just one of the games with a bunch of mini escape rooms and puzzles, you can't really talk about this game in depth without pretty much giving off a whole walkthrough of it. There's this bird in the room though, but once you do escape 40 times, the bird flies out and leaves you to die. So the next game here is called Full Moon, and it's another one of the many puzzle games where there's like multiple puzzles. But basically, you just need to give a certain snack to a bunny. But what I have to say with this game, I don't know if I just have like a skill issue or something, but are some of these puzzles just like a little bit too difficult? Like in this one, you need to land this acorn onto a leaf, but they have totally different falling speed and a pretty small timing window. So you have to be just right, and you probably fail like 3 times before actually doing it right. And you can't even try again right after you fail because this tree only gives you the correct leaf every 3rd time you click on it. Plus, you also need to click this rock where the leaf stops and you have to do it all over again, but you probably know that because you need to click everything with these games. And there's also this level and this level, but whatever. This segment is getting too long for me. I don't like the shade of blue in the sky. For our next game, we have a game called Sugar Sugar. This is another one a couple people would probably recognize. For this game, a bunch of sugar would drop down from this comma, and you need to get the sugar into these cups. How do you do that? Well, by drawing lines to direct the sugar, of course. You can kind of call this a physics game. There's also a bunch of gimmicks that show up. Like here, you get these color changes, and you got to get the green sugar in the green cup and the orange sugar in the orange cup. That easy. Then there's also this button that can flip the gravity of everything. And there's also sometimes holes in the floor which has the sugar fall down into them and then fall from the other side of the screen, which is pretty cool. There's some hard levels, but there's also some funny levels like this one. This is a good game. There's also a free play mode, but I don't really want to go through all the trouble of beating the entire game for it. Anyway, the next game we have is... Dang it, are we really doing another series? I know these games weren't made for commentary, but my needs should be prioritized over everybody else's. There's nothing wrong with that sentence. Well, what's new in this game? The same gimmicks return in this one, but there's also some new ones. Here we have some teleporters. What do? Teleport the sugar. Not much has really changed here. We have some new and harder levels, and for some reason, a heavier focus on spoons, but from how far I got, there's not too much that's changed. And then we got Sugar Sugar 3. It's different. When you draw lines, they don't get blurry, but to be honest, I'll probably just look at these again later. Well, what else do we have? We have a series of 3 escape rooms here. These are basically just escape rooms, and you can't really put commentary on escape rooms. The first one here is called Loose the Moose. And don't worry, you do lose a moose. Once you loose the moose, and give a gumball to a mouse though, you get well done. Anyway, the next escape room here is called A Bark in the Dark. Well, this one says Bart Bronte Presents, so that means it's cinematic. Well, here you do get to abuse a mouse again, so don't worry. You also get a memory game here, but there's a whole other part where you do get outside and have to do a series of a different type of puzzle. But I didn't get to that part because I accidentally exited out the game after the memory game and I wasn't able to save my progress. So you can just watch someone else's gameplay footage. The next game here is called Abante Escape. And oh hey, it's the bird from 40X Escape. Sadly, that seems to be the only influence from Bante's other games. So if you were expecting an escape room themed around his other games, sorry. Anyway, it's just another escape room. I needed to walk through for this and you don't get to kill mice. Dang it! Well, at least you do get to give a bird water and orange juice. Why does this bird call me a twat? Well, you get to go to a box, get the key, and you get well done. The end. The next game is called Yellow. What's this game about? It's just another multiple puzzle game. To win each level, you need to make the screen yellow. But some criticisms I have about this game is that some levels drag on for a bit, like a lot. And some puzzles are just kind of taken from Bante's other games. But this next game is a big change of pace. It's called Farfalla, and it's pretty much just a collecting platformer. It's fun, but there's a lot of walking. Basically, you need to get these color-coded balloons. They're used like keys on doors. Anyway, once you make your way to the end of this maze, you find a girl, and then... Yep, they die. Just kidding, it's a happy love story, I think. And then you get a custom cursor for some reason. Well, the next game is called Duck, Think Outside the Flock, and it's another multiple puzzle game. But some of the levels here are pretty ambitious, like we have some straight up card matching and tic-tac-toe minigames. Once you beat all the levels, the waters go dark and the duck follows your mouse. The next game here is called Dog Nation. It's a game where you need to deliver specific block patterns to upgrade a castle. This one deals with sequencing and stuff, a lot of gimmicks show up. I didn't finish this one, but I was pretty tired. The next game is called Pixels. To beat each level, you need to get pixels in a specific location and sometimes specific shape. Some gimmicks are Raz, but I can't show them because I got stuck at level 4. I could not figure out how to beat level 4 at all. Anyways, the next game is called 25. It's kind of like 2048, but there's also these red blocks you can't use to merge anything. To get rid of them, you need to put them in a line of 3 or more. The best score I got was 1039. The next game is called Must Pop Words. It's like your casual word game. Letters fall down and you need to make words with those letters. But also this penguin pops up occasionally and can give you objectives to do to get extra points or help you out. Once 50 letters drop down, the game's over. It's pretty fun. The game does get harder, like increasing the speed of stuff dropping down and increasing the amount of letters you need to make a valid word. The highest score I got on this was 1677. The next game here is called Furiosity. Basically, you need to make the screen a color, but there's a different way to do it each time. You need to use logical thinking, but I don't think I'm too good at that because I got stuck on level 5. I guess that's better than how I did on Pixels though. This next game is called Clickwork. It's kind of like playing with a bop-it. You need to point, click, drag and drop, or press space. You just need to rack up as many points as you can until the main game is over. There's also supposed to be a rhythmic element, but that didn't really work because the game started delaying for some reason. Must be the screen recording software I used. But if you get more than 30,000 points, you get a bonus round. It's not to a rhythm anymore, but you just gotta try to do random stuff until you miss once. My final score was 40,200 points. Well, there's one last game in this collection, and it's called What's Inside the Box. It's another multi-puzzle game, so it's a little hard to make commentary on it. But anyways, wait a second, this level is literally just a level from 40X Escape. Anyway, I got stuck at level 15, so I guess we'll never know what's inside this box. At least not yet. Well, if that's all the games in the Bart Bonte collection, then that must be all the games he made, right? Nope. If you look at his website or his blog, you'll see a couple more games that I didn't cover. He also has some more games on Steam. Good thing I got the Bart Bonte bundle because now I can play those games. And I'll take a look at those games, his mobile games, and take another look at everything I missed here in part 2. Goodbye. I just spent $10 on free games. Welcome to part 2. Let's jump right into it, shall we? Okay, so as you may know, I missed a few things when I was talking about a few of the games in the Bart Bonte collection. So what happens when you beat the Factory Balls games? In Factory Balls 2, you get some type of end show, or at least that's what the game calls it. And in Factory Balls 3, Pac-Man himself here congratulates you. But in Factory Balls 4, you get to make your own Factory Ball by painting on one. It also says that you can send it to Bonte, so of course I did. Anyways, what really was inside that box? Well, once you beat all the levels, the box opens and you get a tasty treat. Sorry for the spoilers. Okay, so now let's breeze through all the other endings for the games. In Sugar Sugar 1, once you beat all the levels, it says congratulations and you get the free play mode. It looks like this. Same goes for Sugar Sugar 2 and 3. Yeah, even though the free play mode wasn't shown in Sugar Sugar 3, it's still there. In A Bark in the Dark, once you beat the memory game, you get a code to click into a telephone and... Oh, so this guy's counting my beeps? How about you count these beeps? This guy isn't a really good counter, is he? Anyway, you leave the house and you get this really complex sequencing puzzle, but then you give this bone to the dog and then a dance party. What? At the end of the yellow, it tells me to yell ow, so I do. Ow. And then it says congratulations. At the end of Dog Nation, there's a fireworks show, but I don't know if there's anything else. All the other games don't have a published ending that I was able to find online. Sorry. Now let's look at some Steam games that were released. The first one is called Boo, and it's just Factory Balls again, but with pumpkins. If I want to play Factory Balls, I will play Factory Balls, which is the next Steam game here. Technically, it's called Factory Balls Forever, but basically it's just Factory Balls but bigger and better. All the levels are separated in these level packs for some reason, but I think this may be supposed to be a deluxe version of Factory Balls, I don't know. There's also an extra level pack Boo, and guess what? It's just Boo again! If I wanted to play Boo, I would play Boo, which isn't the next game here. The next one here is called Logica Emotica. So basically this is like a Sokoban style game, but there's also other types of puzzles, like ones where you just have to collect stuff. Also it's emoji themed, but you could probably see that. Anyway, what about Flash games that I missed? Technically I didn't miss them, for some reason they just weren't included in the Bart Bonte collection, which I found a little strange. Some of these games are only available to access through Bonte's game design biography for some reason. One of these games is the first public game Bonte ever made, at least I think. It's called the Bonte Room, and it's another escape room. You find yourself dropped in a strange room. But are you smart enough to get out? No doubt. Thanks for being so optimistic. Anyway, yeah, it's another escape room. And wait a second, that's Dog from Dog Nation. Well, the solutions for some of the puzzles are kind of stupid in my opinion. Like here you have a rusty key, but since it's so rusty you can't unlock the door with it. So you grab a Powerade and put it into this fish bowl and put the key in there, and now it's just not rusty? Huh? But 5 months later we got a sequel to the Bonte Room. The Bonte Room 2. It's like the Bonte Room but with a bird. And also the solutions are just as weird. To win the game you need to give this bird roasted peanuts with cactus milk, and to put the roasted peanuts into the cactus milk, I think you would have to click the puddle of milk with the roasted peanuts equipped, but guess what? It just doesn't work! Dang! Anyway, the next game is called Free the Bird. Okay. Anyway, I got stuck on this screen. What the heck do you expect me to do here? There's no clues or nothing. And also, some games just won't load up for some reason, so I'd have to inspect the webpage and download the .swf file from there. And then, I'd have to get the Ruffle emulator to open it. And all of that for this. Anyway, the next game is called Scene on Screen. It's another, and also the first, multiple puzzle game Bonte seemed to make. Anyway, the clues are so vague that I got stuck at this level. You can't just say, go left, go right, and then give me an OK button. What the heck is that supposed to mean? You can see I tried breaking the game code to get past this, but I failed because I don't know anything about Ruffle or Flash. The next game also has this weird TV, and it's called Fields of Logic. There are basically no clues here again. I think it takes logic or something stupid like that. There's also Chicken Girl. It's an escape room. There's also another game called 14 Locks, but it wasn't made with Flash. It was made with Unity. And also I'd have to download something to really play it, so I'm skipping it. That's the same thing with another game called Off to Work We Go. Sorry! Also, remember when I briefly mentioned Sweet Dreams in part 1? Well, it's not mobile exclusive, it was a web game at one point. It's basically a multiple puzzle game with sugar style levels sprinkled in. The last cool game here is called Song for a Bird. Do you like those word puzzles? Like those types where it shows the word mice 3 times without the letter I, and it's called 3 Blind Mice or something? That's basically what this game is. It shows the beginning of a song lyric, then a word puzzle, and you have to put the answer in. After the song, a bunch of new birds come over to the tree. I'm not sure why this wasn't put in the Bart Bonte collection. It's a real good game and would fit in perfectly with the other games. Instead we got a game called Dog Nation. But I still missed some more games, I guess. The remaining games are the Christmas games. I'm not sure why some of these were in the Bart Bonte collection. Probably something to do with religion or I don't know. Anyway, the first Christmas game released was called Factory Balls, the Christmas Edition. And it's that. But instead of factory balls, they're ornaments, and all of the balls are on a Christmas tree. Pretty creative way to showcase this if you ask me. But then we also have Sugar the Christmas Edition. It's sugar, but Christmas. I mean, what could you do with sugar? It's already great. Next one's called a Blocky Christmas. You need to get blocks in a specific location again, but there's also a thing where you attach to blocks, which is pretty cool. The next game is called a Bonte Christmas. This is basically the aftermath of the game Far Follow, where you hate your wife. You gotta collect these circles, but sometimes they have to be in specific patterns. Then we have Pixels for Christmas. It's a platformer where you have to collect golden pixels and avoid the red guys. This game kinda stinks. It's far too repetitive. The map is like really big. And I can see someone having fun playing this. The last Christmas game I saw is called Christmas Cat. It's like Cat in Japan where you need to find 20 pieces of sushi, but this time you need to find Christmas ornaments. It's fun. But after you beat the game... What the heck? And also, looking through Bante's blog for all the other games, I found out that he made a mobile app to show all the cat games off. But in his specific post, he talked about developing a 4th game. There's no further info known about this game, so I did what anyone would do and made a post on the Lost Media Wiki forums. And someone replied, but they were just like, I don't know, and then started rambling on about Angry Birds. Oh wait, he made a mobile game? Yep. This segues into the next segment, his mobile games, which he mainly focuses on now because he told me when he replied to the email I sent him. These games consist of original games, remakes, ports, alternative versions of games, and remakes but without including the actual name in the title. I won't talk about all his mobile games because some of them cost money, and there's also the Color series, which is a series of multiple puzzle games where you have to make the screen a specific color. And each of the Color games have 50 levels in them, which makes 400 levels in all. But the ones I can cover, let's go in order from oldest to newest. The first one here is called Tap Tap Tap. It's basically just click work, but a little different. Since it's for mobile devices, the actions you have to do are a bit different. You need to tap, double tap, swipe a direction, drag and drop, and there's also a thing you're not allowed to touch. Heck, that might not even be all of them. Oh, it's also endless now. I got a score of 179 on this one. The next game is called What's Inside the Box. Technically, we already played this game, but the Flash version and mobile version are different. See, the game is an exact copy until... boom! There's a motion-controlled puzzle. There's a lot of new puzzles here, which is pretty cool. This game is called Blocky Xmas. The Flash version of this and the mobile version of this have pretty much the same gameplay, but there's many differences between them. Like in the mobile version, to continue each stage, you have to high-five Santa. And also this reindeer pops up. The next game is called Words for a Bird. This is pretty much the same game as Song for a Bird, but with more levels. And also the song is different. The next one's called Sugar Game. It's pretty much Sugar Sugar, or Sugar Sugar Deluxe if you want to call it that, since it has 210 levels right now. The game's a bit harder though, and I think it stops dispensing sugar sooner than normal. Still a pretty nice game though, with a remixed version of the original track from Sugar Sugar. Next one is called Mr. Antonio. It's pretty much the same gameplay as Abante Christmas. You have to give balls to a cat that loves balls. There's also this one cat scene and a moose. Now let's play the latest game Bante has released. It's called Leaving Home. It's like an escape room combined with multiple puzzle games. And that makes some pretty fun games. But that's not it, the art and music are really cool too. The game's free on mobile devices, but it also is on Steam if you want to get it on PC. Okay, that's most of the Bante games that were put out. Now, ever since Flash was put down and shot in the head in 2020, Bante focused on Steam and mobile games and now charges money for the games. But now some of the free games have in-app purchases, which is totally understandable. It's hard to make money being a game designer, I think. I don't even know how you would get money from the Flash games. But still, it's great to look back on the old games, but the new games are still just as good. I just spent no money on free games.
Everybody knows I'm cool, and so I'm gonna chew you up like a sweet toy. Chair.
Yeah.
I got $5 in the bank.
$5?
And you know what $5 can get you? What? Nothing.
Nothing.
Cereal. And also, it gives you life,
cereal.
but it didn't give me lemons. What? No, it didn't give me lemons.
What?
Everybody knows I'm the best. You know I got the rest. No, you know I'm under the best. I'm not the best, cause I don't got the rest. Yay!
Trick or treat! Oh, who are you two kiddos supposed to be?
I'm a cowboy.
Then I should probably give you Snickers then, huh? That's the 10th house that's giving me Snickers because of my costume. What's the deal with that?
Didn't you hear? Last year someone went as a cowboy and got kidnapped.
What does Snickers have to do with that?
Yeah.
Last Halloween was unforgettable. Why? Because some kid got kidnapped. So why can't I get, like, shot or something today? I need something to remember this Halloween by. Not these stupid Snickers.
Can you guys shut up?
Oh, don't worry. I got something unforgettable a few houses back.
Dental floss?
No, even better.
This is cool, but I still want the dental floss.
Well, horror games. You gotta love to play them. Who doesn't love a good scare on Halloween? That's right, me. Heck, I bet you could make a horror game right now. Just make a normal platformer. After 10 seconds, it has to be a jump scare. And, oh, and as a fourth wall break, have it shut down your computer too. And if no one likes it, just say it was psychological horror and they didn't understand it. Well, it's Halloween and I gotta make Halloween memorable this year. So what can I do? I don't know, I'll just play horror games. But what horror games should I play? Oh, I know. I'll just go on game sharing websites and search up horror games on there. These better be good.
Okay, so the first one here that I got is called Take Care of Your Pal. This game is like a virtual pet, but then you kill your pet. What? It also has a sequel where you talk to a guy, but I won't play it. Bye!
Okay, maybe those horror games are like a bit too recent or something, so let's go back to the 1970s. No, that's not too far back, you're just uncultured. And a swine. Yeah.
The first one here is Haunted House by the Atari 2600. To play this game and win, you need to find all 3 pieces of an urn in this house with multiple floors while avoiding these weirdos. Then you gotta get back to the house entrance. The only way to see the pieces of the urn though is by using matches to light off your path. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and also this really weird thing happened where every piece of the urn was in one room, which is pretty lucky, but that doesn't matter because the game kinda sucked. But don't worry, there's more. This one's called Halloween and based off the movie with the same name. You get points by stabbing this bad guy and also moving kids around, but you also have to avoid this bad guy or he cuts your head off.
This game is like an almond joy. Everybody says it sucks, but once you give it a try, you realize they were right. Okay, maybe the 1970s was too far back, so let's go back just a decade or so and look at the 3DS. What horror games do we have on here?
The video just showcases specific levels that are spooky. We got Luigi's Mansion, Animal Crossing New Leaf, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Mario Kart 7, and then some Yokai Watch game. We all know Luigi's Mansion isn't even scary, and the other games only have spooky levels. Oh, and also, there's more videos in the app, but they're just trailers to the game shown in the previous video. But thanks to the modding community, there's a mod of this new Super Mario Bros. 2, which is called Super Mario Bros. Next Halloween Special. And yeah, it's pretty much that. It's a bit more challenging and adds some new stuff, but it's not scaring me. We need some games that freak me out.
You know what? I'm giving up on the 3DS. Maybe indie horror games have gotten better. It's been like, what, 2 minutes? Let's check them out.
Okay, this one is called Out of Normal. And guess what I just figured out? I'm on YouTube and I'm playing a horror game, so let me just... That's better.
Hey guys, this is my...
This guy looks like, a bald guy with a mustache. Mr. Ba. I'm Mr. Ba. Call me Mr. Ba. I'm Mr. Ba. Mr. Ba. Okay, so guys, this is actually the scariest game ever. And you don't know that. I knew that would happen. I told Sam. Who names their kid Sam? Oh shoot. He's dead now. He's dead now. I don't know if my microphone's good. He puts pillows in the suit? Okay guys, okay, so this is actually the scariest game ever. He puts pillows in his suit. He's on his level, and he needs his stuff back. Okay, on my level. You got it? You got pencil? No, I didn't. I got a report, and it's not even been. Why is there input delay? I swear there's input delay. Oh wait. Okay, so I'm gonna jump in this hole and not live. Oh, who's that guy? Who's that guy? What's that? What's a tremor? Got tumors on my level? I got tumors on my level? Get these tumors off my level. Sorry guys, there's a bit of an inconvenience. So we gotta find tumors in the cave now. Ooh. I'm working on sunshine. Oh. What's status? What's this? Okay. What is that? More stuff down here. Oh, do I have to go down further? No. What? do I do here?
Of flipping these stones, I'm breaking it.
I'm not sure. What do I do? But there's just a bunch of bad stuff. Do I? What is this thing? What is that? A living animal? No. Turn your flashlight. Oh. I hope you find yourself. I hope you find yourself. I hope you turn your flashlight on. No, let me look closer. So you have to get that. Why do you hate them so much? You have to kill them. But all the plants, especially this one. That's how you do it. That's just how you do it. That's just how we roll it. Oh man. Okay. Nah. So I just died. Run! Okay. What? You must stand up. Yes, you wanna do it? Can I do shift? Should I use the broken sword? You take a metal pipe? And then I go back home.
Where's the reaction? What happened to losing control?
Hey. I'm not making noise, stupid. Oh my god. Is that it? What? What? Okay. Bye.
Okay, so that was a game. I mean, I guess it wasn't bad, but I was just expecting a bit more. Maybe I shouldn't have just skipped through everything. Maybe that was a bad thing. Okay, we need to find a horror game fast. One that has a story. And I know quite a few horror games that have stories to go with them. Yep. The creepypasta game I made when I was like 6. Is that a little too obscure? Anyway, yeah, when I was like 6, I made a creepypasta, and then I made a game to go along with it. So, heck, why don't we read the whole creepypasta first?
So yeah, I was on Scratch and found this project simply called Platformer.
Huh?
I clicked it and boom! It played instantly. I was controlling a green circle. I played, but when I got to the 4th level, it replayed the same level, except now there was blood anywhere. Even the music was reversed.
Huh?
After things going like this, there was static for a few seconds, then it changed to a way different theme. The music changed, and there was no more blood. After the 2nd level of that platformer, blood, slow reverse music. Then a little after that, everything turns red. I can't control anything, and the terrifying red circle going towards the green circle. After that, it took me to a save data thing. I clicked add, and then the project glitched. Then it took me to a game over screen of a skull down. Then there was Japanese language. I can't understand that. Then it took me to the PlayStation 2 red screen of death, but it said scratch format disc, and that was it? What?
Oh, and the game to go along with it? It got deleted. I can't play it anymore. The stupid game that only scared paranoid wimps with paintophobia got reported and deleted. So until I remember the password for that account, it's lost media, man. And what was the game called? Platformer.exe. Yeah, I was making a stupid .exe game. Gosh, I was the corniest person ever back then. Holy crap. Well, I don't know what else to do, man. Let's see what every other person made on a Scratch website. This is called The Dark Blood, Chapter 1.
Okay guys, this is my let's play okay everybody, this is my let's play of Dark Blood Chapter. This is my let's play what the heck? What? Who's that? Oh, yeah, what? Okay, and that is the game, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you.
And then we have chapter 2.
Okay guys, this is my let's play of the Dark Blood chapter 2. It's my let's play of Dark Blood chapter 2, and we played the game. Who the heck? Oh. And that is the game.
Then chapter 3.
Okay everybody, this is my let's play of Dark Blood the Dark Blood chapter 3.
Then in chapter 4, you're in Candyland and you pretty much get the ending of the series.
Okay guys, this is my let's play of Dark Blood the chapter 4. Okay. Dude, it's like a chipmunk. Okay. This guy's gonna die. Move it. Who the heck is Wallace? Wallace? We're like, oh shoot, what? Your mama is mama. I don't even wanna, but I mean, your mama is mama, but I don't even wanna, because your mama is bad. I don't want that. Okay, so, and then, you know, shoot, what the heck? Oh, and then he died. Okay, guys, this is my let's play. And that is the game. Thanks for playing, and I'll see you.
Okay, what else can we play? Oh, I forgot. What about that copy of Resident Evil my friend gave me? I could just pop it up and get it right and running, and he gave me a copy with no disc in it. That sneaky bugger. That little liar. That son of a bitch. I can't find any horror games I like, so how can I find the perfect horror game for me? I know, I'll just make my own. So I don't have any coding experience, so I think I'm just gonna use WarioWare DIY to make my own game. It's limited, but creativity can get... yeah. Okay everybody, I've been hard at work, and I'm ready to show you my new game, and dang it, I just made Haunted House again. You know, I think I finally figured it out. You don't need to make Halloween memorable to have fun, you just need to enjoy it. And there you go, that's how you make a Halloween memorable. Okay. No! Okay, so cut that part out in editing. Mr. Pumple sticker and... no, okay. What? Because it's funny when you cut it out. Cut it off. The stupid game that only scare paranoid wimps with paintophobia got I hope Mom doesn't see that recording. She's gonna get mad at me.
Rip-offs, copies, knockoffs, cheap imitations. What do all of those words have in common? Exactly, the definition. Knockoffs of video games have always existed. Heck, even after Pong was released, it was like cocaine in the 1970s. Everybody was doing it. Now, WarioWare ripoffs? That's a tricky one. The game is basically a set of tiny mini-games called micro-games, each with 3 difficulty levels, followed up by a boss game, also with 3 levels. Now, all those mini-games in that one boss game are put into one level with a tiny story, and then there's more levels, and maybe some extra endless mini-games thrown in there too. It's such a unique gameplay style. Knockoffs of an actual WarioWare game don't really exist because there aren't many games that have that exact criteria. Most quote-unquote knockoffs just copy the gameplay style. But there are many games that get pretty close to the main game. Some games just take the gameplay style, some go a little further, but I know 3 games that take the WarioWare game and pretty much tape another name on the box art. And for some reason, all those games are SpongeBob games. The first game is called Buster Jam, and it's a recent one on Steam set to release in 2026, but we have a demo, so I'll play that. The story is that this wrecking crew just wants to get in their PJs, order a pizza, and rent Dinosaurus 2 Return of the Apes. But this wizard and his team are trying to take over the city. And then they put a purple thing in the city. So now the team is going to see a scientist for it. Once you start the game, you find out that you can move around in a map. There are obstacles to jump over and some puzzles too, which is pretty cool. Then you get to the WarioWare-like part of the game where you get to the statue. And the gameplay is pretty much just WarioWare. The only differences that I could tell is that there are 3 lives instead of 4, they say ready, go before you start playing, and instead of a boss game, it's just a regular game with the bumper last one before it. And then you get to the subway, meet this group called the Black Knives, and have to fight them. And this time you get a boss game. You go on this lizard and then have to tornado bombs at him 3 times. And that's where the demo ends. What separates this game from WarioWare? Well, for one, the humor is way more different. It's more like modern internet humor than just like family-friendly jokes. Also, there's the top-down world map section of the game and an actual story with it, rather than multiple mini-stories. But there's also supposed to be a casino that's just not in the demo. It apparently has new game modes and longer versions of mini-games, and those are in WarioWare. Also, there's going to be a versus mode, and that's pretty dang cool. I have really high hopes for this game, and that's why it's on my wish list.
Holy crap, is that Grumpy Cat?
Remember Grumpy Cat? It's just a cat that looks grumpy, so people put funny captions on it. Boom, now you get a book franchise, a movie, and this game. It's more high score based, and to get microgames, you need to unlock them. How do you unlock microgames? By getting coins. How do you get coins? By playing and beating microgames. Once you get a new microgame, you get another cat in your world. And you can shake the cats for more coins. There's multiple worlds, and all of them have different themes. Pretty unique. Anyway, the gameplay is kinda horrible. The game gets faster and harder as you go on, and that doesn't work for most of the minigames. Sometimes you'll get 5 seconds to win something, but you'd have to have the best reflexes ever to win it. I would be mad, and I am, but I was warned about this. It's right in the game's title. It really is Grumpy Cat's worst game ever. This game is as good as a fish. I guess you could say it's. Fish-like is another newer game, but it's way simpler. The demo is pretty small and only has 2 levels and a remix stage. Apparently the whole thing is high-speed microgames involving fish, fishing, and fish-like activities. But then in the second level, everything is not fish. If I want fish, give me fish. Also, I don't really like the soundtrack. I'm not sure if this is like a demo exclusive thing, but all the music is limited to like 2 instruments, and that includes drums, and it just kind of gives this game an unfinished feel.
Oh no.
I really want to like the game, but it just feels kinda mid to me. I don't own this one. But I can still talk about it, jeez. This game was made for the failed console accessory called the U-Draw game tablet made by THQ for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and the Wii. And it failed so much that it literally was one of the reasons that the company went defunct. Anyway, SpongeBob SquigglePants is a SpongeBob-themed WarioWare game where each stage is based on a different art style and the gameplay uses touch controls and motion controls. And the story of the game is that Patchy the Pirate, he probably has a jar with a SpongeBob figurine in it.
Ooh, that's a beautiful bubble, SpongeBob, but I can blow an even bigger one.
Anyway, Patchy the Pirate made a SpongeBob art gallery, and now you have to look at it. Anyway, yeah, it's a fine game. I like it. There's also some extra endless minigames and a drawing program thrown in there too, because why not? Even the minigames are called nano games. That's totally a ripoff of the word microgames. Oh, and guess what? Because of a bug in the game, you can't 100% a save file since some stuff just doesn't unlock for some reason. This game is great, but just sometimes I just hate it. Then the team behind SpongeBob SquigglePants realized that the U-Draw was doomed to fail, so they ported it to 3DS because SpongeBob SquigglePants might be the best game on the dang U-Draw. And there's even some extra content. The extra content is really just an extra level that uses a circle pad, and that's pretty much it. And I guess they fixed the bug where you couldn't get 100% on the save file, and that also lets you achieve the special 100% video. And they also filmed different tutorials for playing, since the game is on a 3DS and not a U-Draw tablet, but that's a pretty deep cut. I really like SpongeBob SquigglePants. The music is great, it really has a lot of personality into it, and it's fun to play.
Fuck
this episode!
This is the third SpongeBob WarioWare knockoff, and it's kind of like SpongeBob SquarePants combined with that Grumpy Cat game. It uses motion and touch controls, and the story behind this is that Mr. Krabs put a Zoltar machine, oh wait, I mean the Great Wombozi. The heck is a Wombozi? That sounds like a 1940s car brand. Anyway, he puts one in the Krusty Krab, and it's like broken or something, so SpongeBob and Patrick can't touch it, but they do. And they get sucked into a portal or something, and then WarioWare. That doesn't make sense, so if you're playing SpongeBob's Game Frenzy for the lore, screw you! All the minigames come as cards and give you 4 years to look at what game is coming and its control style, and then you have to beat the game. There's also these weird aftermath videos that play if you win or lose. This game is definitely for kids in the 1 digits. Something weird about this game for me is that all the animations are so robotic and linear, like each body part is its own object. The game just has this weird vibe, I feel. Anyway, the way that this game relates to that one Grumpy Cat game is that you have to unlock each minigame by getting a good score. Also, if you are playing SpongeBob's Game Frenzy for the lore, don't screw you, because there's this loose story where you have to collect each card, because guess what? Wombozi is evil. Wow. There's also a playlist feature which lets you play 6 to 12 games in any order.
You can add 6 to 12 games. Do not try to add 13. I'll know!
This game is probably okay. Too bad you can't play it. This is a list that has games I didn't cover. Why didn't I cover them? It's either because you probably already know them or that I didn't care about them. Bimsy Dreams is a short little game, but it sure is great. The first stage only uses the Z key, the second one uses only the directional buttons, and the third uses both. Then you have a remix stage and a hyper remix stage, which is just a remix stage but faster. The game is really good. I also like the soundtrack here. TobyWare is a Wario fan game, but then this guy named Toby is plastered all over it. I don't know who he is, and neither do you, but the game has a lot of references, so that's pretty cool. And also there's an entire FNAF fan game as a boss stage too. Mindwave is a lot like WarioWare. It has a pretty cool art style, but I don't know anything about it. The demo is on Steam if you really want to try it out. Dumb Ways to Die is also a lot like WarioWare, and it's a mobile game, and kind of like SpongeBob's Game Frenzy since it has epilogues after each minigame. Toilet Time is, what the hell is this? Touch minigame is also a mobile game. It has a lot of minigames, but they aren't coded as well and have a lot of stocked images. There are also some extra endless minigames. Peterware the game is the best thing ever. RBLXware and MGDware are both Wario fan games put on Roblox. The main difference is that RBLXware relies more on the Roblox control scheme, and MGDware is more of a traditional WarioWare game that only uses the mouse. But the thing with both games is that they both have no dang players! There are also a ton of WarioWare fan games on Scratch, and by a ton, I mean a ton! The list includes, but is definitely not limited to, WarioWare Recoded, WarioWare Recoded 2, WarioWare 2022, WarioWare 2023, WarioWare Mixed aka WarioWare 2024, WarioWare Zebra Masters version, SpongeBob's House Party, Scratchy's Microgame Madness, WarioWare Computed, WarioWare Computer Game, TobyWare again, Adamware, Dylanware, WarioWare Gold Scratch, WarioWare Gold Scratch 2, WarioWare Smooth Move Scratch Edition, WarioWare Scratched, WarioWare Scratch Demo, which is made by somebody else, WarioWare Scratch, WarioWare Scratch, WarioWare Scratch, WarioWare Scratch, WarioWare Scratch Deluxe, WarioWare Scratch, Mega Micro Projects, WarioWare Recoded 2 Meme Edition. Oh, for goodness sake. Heck, even I made a few WarioWare ripoffs, Stickman's Minigames, Dots Games, and very recently WarioWare Captured. So what are you gonna do with all this information? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Except when you do it to Nintendo, I guess, because there was supposed to be a game for the PSP called Battle Hell 2000, but then it got sued out of orbit because there were people in it that looked too similar to Mario and Luigi. So I guess we all should die.
Man, November 30th at 11:59 p.m. sure is great. Oh, another minute passed. Guess it's December 1st now. Oh, phone call. An unknown number. Wonder who it could be. Hello? Who's this? Oh, my agent? I don't have an agent. Well, don't spoil me now. I only have 11 subscribers. Well, yes, Christmas is of thankfulness and goodwill and stuff. Well, what are you calling me for? To make a Christmas special? Right now, I barely have any ideas for a Christmas video. I only have 24,177 ideas. Okay, fine, but I do have to let you know that it's my bedtime, so goodbye. Well, I guess it sure looks like Christmas. Sure feels like it too. I'm going inside.
You know what else feels like Christmas? Singing a song, or in other words, caroling. So let me sing a song.
Where are you, Christmas? Christmas. You get presents and stuff, and fruitcake as well. But only if you like fruitcake. And there's also cookies. Okay, bye. Okay, let's talk about Christmas. You get presents, and that's the main thing, but you can also leave out milk and cookies. For goodness sakes, why am I talking about this? You know what Christmas is? If you don't, it's probably your first Christmas. And if it's your first Christmas, then you're probably 1 year old. Or under that, so... Why? Shoot. How about this? How about we test how much you know about Christmas? Here.
Well, what should I get for Christmas? Well, I guess I could look at the daily magazines and see. Like this PS5, this new Mario Kart game, Frog 2, YouTube for the Nintendo Switch, Pac-Man, and this magazine. I could probably get better deals for Black Friday.
Hold on, when is Black Friday anyway? Oh well. Why am I back out here? It's still cold. Oh, what's that? Present. Okay, early Christmas present. This is awesome. Let's open it. Oh. It's a DVD. Let's see what's on it.
I'm the one and only Santa Claus, and I'm gonna tell you what games to play on Christmas. See, on this very DVD, I put some secrets, and do you think you can find them? No. Well, Merry Christmas, you stupid.
Secrets on a DVD? Great. How am I gonna find them? Oh. Okay, that's enough of that. Well, I think I know what the real Christmas special is today. It's the friends we made along the way. And hey,
That's what I say. Bye. Have you ever wanted to watch videos on your Nintendo consoles? Well, probably not, but if you didn't have anything normal to watch videos with, like a phone or maybe a DVD player, you might have. So they release things to watch videos and maybe some exclusive content on your consoles. Yeah, you're getting premium treatment here. You can watch Scary Movie 4 on your Panasonic GameCube Q. Now, off the bat, these are pretty unnecessary because by the time they actually started doing this, streaming services were being put onto game consoles. Anyway, the first one released was the Nintendo channel for the Wii in 2007. It wasn't only a video service, you were also able to view info about Nintendo stuff along with downloading DS game demos to your DS and also get recommendations for certain software, whatever that meant. It was discontinued in 2013, but then 2009 Wii No Ma was released exclusively for Japan and it was way more of a video service. The main focus was being able to watch TV shows and movies for the whole family. There was also a film rental and you can pay for videos with Wii points. Not only that, there was a shopping service with it too, and you could buy a wide variety of items with the credit card. This is a pretty weird thing, and that's probably why it was shut down 3 years later in 2012. And then a third service for the Wii was released exclusively in PAL regions in 2011. It was called the Kirby TV channel and only showed episodes from the show Kirby Right Back at Ya. Talk about a limited audience. The way it showed episodes was also really weird. Every few days, new episodes would be added, and 2 weeks later that episode would be taken away. Once you watched an episode, you would get a key and could watch the episode again by unlocking it with the key. After December 1st, the episode rotation finished, but in 2012 it got revived again, but then the episode rotation finished again on the September 13th. If you didn't watch your weekly Kirby episode, you're never gonna see the episode you missed again. An app for the Wii that could only play Kirby videos? Next you're gonna tell me there was an app that could order food. But guess what? There was. So that's all the Wii video services, at least I think. So then what happened on the 3DS? Well, this time there was only one real video service because they figured out releasing 3 was a stupid idea. The 3DS had Nintendo Video released in 2011, which automatically downloaded random 3D and 2D videos from Spot Pass. You could only have 4 videos saved at one time, and you couldn't save any videos permanently. And that led to some videos being lost media because there were exclusive videos made for this. It was discontinued in 2014, but North America had it until 2015. I bet 7.4 billion people feel really jealous right now. There were also tiny videos you could download standalone from the eShop. These also varied a lot, and if you do some hacking work, you can make your own video applications. The Nintendo Video app is pretty much non-functional now. You can still look at the terms of service at least. So what did the Wii U have? This one's called Nintendo TV, and it was like a person because it had 2 eyes, and died after 3 years. I'm pretty sure that it played TV shows and movies through cable TV and regular streaming services, and you can also comment on what you were watching through Miiverse, Facebook, or Twitter. It was basically Nintendo's own streaming service. It only took 4 times for me to actually call one of these a streaming service. This was released in 2012 and was discontinued in 2015, and there was also a system update pushed out that removed it from the home screen. Now we have the Switch 1 and 2, and these have nothing. Unless you want to count the news app, I don't think there's any real streaming service by Nintendo on here. But who can blame them? We got YouTube, Crunchyroll, Twitch, Animation, Hulu. Dang it. There's also something called Pokemon TV for the Switch, but I have no idea what that is. And you can also say older consoles had video services, but then you're doing a deep cut, because if you're saying GBA Video was a video service, well, that's just a matter of opinion. And also, there's some cool revivals of the video services I mentioned before. The Nintendo channel, Wii Room, and Kirby TV channel are all functional again with Wii Link 24. And Wii Room has some exclusive content called Wii Link Originals, plus some YouTube shows put on there too. Nintendo Video doesn't even have a revival yet, and that's because Nintendo Video relies on Moflex files, which can only be made with leaked SDK tools. And Nintendo TV has Project Rose, but it's in a closed beta and seems to only be reviving the Japanese version, and still only a specific part of the Japanese version. Okay, so what now? Well, I don't know how to end this video off, so I'm just gonna say goodbye, and you're gonna take your cup of soda and leave. Okay, goodbye.
Wish
Everyone remembers the Wii U, right? It pioneered the motion-controlled gaming genre. It was a console made for the whole family, and it really has its dent in video game history. But would you believe me if I told you it wasn't the first motion-controlled video game console?
Yeah.
Oh, so then, what was the first motion-controlled video game? Well, I still don't know. It's probably something like Hang On, when you had to move around in some arcade cabinet to steer a motorbike or something like that. But we also had the Power Pad, which is an accessory for the NES, which is pretty much just a DDR map, but a little different, because you would step on the buttons. But you could just cheat and use your hands like bongos on the map. So was that a motion-controlled thingy? And if you could cheat and use your hands like bongos, was the Donkey Kong barrel accessory a motion-controlled thing?
No, it's not motion controlled. It's bongo pounding controlled. It says right on the box.
And also there were those weird gloves and crap for the oldie consoles like the NES and Genesis. And yeah, those were motion controlled, but not really. Why? Well, they sucked. Okay, now that we got the chit chat out of the way, let's dive into the cool and obscure stuff. The Zavix port was released in 2004. Mostly sports games were released for the thing, and every game had a separate controller for it, plus all the games were like 16-bit. And this was going up against stuff like the PS2 and original Xbox. But it doesn't matter that the console looks like a DVD player. How are the games? Well, as far as I can tell, they aren't that bad. Sure, having there be a different controller for each game takes up a lot of space, but it does leave for more room for creativity and ways to play. Like in this game called Eye Hand, where you practice eye-hand coordination. It's a good idea. You just put it on the glove and wave around. It's weird because they kinda tried to market this as a fitness system and a video game console at the same time, and those are two totally different markets. So what are we even doing here? Well, the console is fine, but it never sold well. The website is pretty much down too. If you try to go there, it's just a website with loads and loads of articles about anything in the world, and I kinda think that the whole website is just botted.
And when that's what precedes your video game console, you know you just sharded yourself.
So let me tell you the two types of motion controlled games. We got motion controllers and camera controllers. The difference is that motion controller games have you move around the controller and stuff to control it, but camera controller games have you use your entire body while a camera tracks your motion. They both have their pros and cons, but the next console I'm going to show you is a camera controlled one. Planet Clue also has a great video on this one and it goes way more into detail, but it's the GoGo TV released in 2005. It was for the little kids and it was supposed to keep the little kids fit. So this one had a camera and it would have you on screen pretty much all the time, but all the games still had their own controller, and I don't even think that the separate controllers were all that necessary. And to be honest, the console and games just aren't all that interesting. It got discontinued pretty fast, so we didn't even get that many games, and all the games weren't really good, because who would want to start up a console and play flashcard fishing?
And when that's what's on your console, you know you just sharded yourself.
The Hasbro Ion was yet another motion-controlled console. You know how the last console was made for little kids? Well, this one was made for little kids, but now it's educational. I think it was pretty cool. It only had licensed games, and the only buttons were on the console itself. But that's been a thing with all the other consoles so far, so I don't know if that's really a cool thing or not. I also heard that the load times on it are abysmal. It gives off the same vibes as educational game consoles like the Leapster, InnoTab, and MobiGo. But of course, it failed.
And when that console you made fails, you know you just sharded yourself.
And we also have the PlayStation iToy. It's an add-on for the PS2, which is just a camera. Heck, it can actually be used as a webcam. It's just terrible quality. So it had exclusive games made for it, but there were also many regular games with extra bonus modes that would just let you use it in some way. I heard that this is actually a really good console add-on. You just need to get the right games, especially if you live in Europe, because I kid you not, almost half of the games exclusive to the iToy are Europe exclusives.
And when half the library are Europe exclusives, I mean, well, that's not really a bad thing, I guess. I mean, it's still a little bad, so I guess. Where's the little pee-pee in your pants?
Shut the fuck. But then after the Wii release, there was a big boom in motion controlled gaming, like really big, because suddenly the Xbox 360 and PlayStation got their own motion controlled add-ons with their own exclusives, like Get Fit with Mel B and Funky Lab Rat. And after all the dust settled, motion controls kind of became a regular thing. I mean, if we stopped doing that, we wouldn't get another Just Dance game. Now we have the modern motion controlled consoles. These mostly fall under the camera controlled ones, but it's not only that. I guess since that the motion control market has already been tapped into, we're trying to do what the GoGo TV was trying to market itself as. Console which will let your kids have fun while having exercise. The first one I've seen is the NEX Playground, but something tells me that this isn't only for kids. Sure, it's focused toward it, but there's also a ton of party games like Brainy Inc., NHL Puck Rush, Zumba Fitness Party, Care Bears Rainbow Ride. Oh wait, maybe not that one.
I saw one of these at Best Buy, and believe me when I tell you they're small. Like, you could shoplift one of these by putting it in your pocket. It's smaller than this, I think. I don't remember it that well.
I feel like this is worth a buy, but like, I don't need one. And we also have the Kinhank Motion X, which looks a bit like an NEX playground. It doesn't get new games, it just has the built-in 40, or at least I think so. Oh, and they have a customer servicing on their website. Looks like Quayla Fu is making a comeback. Wow!
Why am I talking about this? It's boring as heck. I want to be talking about the Leap Move. It's not just your normal educational gaming console. It makes learning an adventure.
Look, the people in the ad are pretty into it. Maybe a little too much. Hey, there's 25 games included, and you can even download more for pretty cheap.
You know, all these are the same thing. They make learning fun. There's no controllers needed. You just plug it in and play. Wow. Well, what are we going to do with all these consoles? Well, I don't know. You figure it out. Because I think we all know why it's pretty useless. Who wants to play a game called Funky Lab Rat?
Bad games. We've all played them, right? Yeah, we have. But some of the games I've played are also pretty bad. And I bet you've never even heard of some of them. So let's go take a look at them. Let's start with one that I really don't like. It's 36 Fragments of Midnight for the PS Vita. And it might be one of the most basic and simple games ever. And that makes it very boring. But for some reason, I absolutely suck at it. So you control the white cube called Midnight, so you have to get 36 star fragments or whatever, but the map is huge for some reason, so you have to backtrack everywhere and crap, and I don't even know what happens once you collect everything. And the map is randomly generated, but there aren't as many things that can be generated. And if you haven't seen it already, the game is laggy as heck. This is $3 too. At least the art is fine, but like, that's the only good part of the game. There's also no sound design, and the only actual music is in the title screen. In game, it just plays wind sounds. There isn't any content here whatsoever, so don't get it. But wait, a year later, Midnight Deluxe came out. It's literally nothing like the game before. It's more of a 2D mini-golf type of game, a little like Angry Birds. You have to launch the cube with the left joystick and a button and try to get it into a hole. And there's also puzzle elements too. There's also actual music this time, but I don't like this game. Sure, it's better than its prequel, I guess. Just boring, and the map design kinda sucks too. And there's also this DS game called How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and yeah, it's based off the book of the same name. It's like a stealthy game. You need to steal everything Christmas related from a house while avoiding everybody who's wide awake the night before Christmas. I'm sorry, I'm not no Dr. Seuss fanboy, but I thought everybody was asleep by then. This game was very lazily made. Some of the sprites look like they've been taken from other games, like how the Grinch is wearing weird clothing, but it also seems like there were some sprites that weren't made in time. When you get caught by this person, you lose a life, but when you get caught by these two people, a minigame plays, and they just reuse the same sprites. That's how you know this game was rushed. So anyway, once you finish every level, you get put into the credits. But there's 2 more difficulty modes and bonuses. I don't know how to unlock bonuses, and if I play this any more than I have to, I might just cry. I also didn't like Attack of the Toy Tanks. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be some sort of knockoff or redo of the Tanks game from Wii Play, but they really butchered it. I stopped playing because I couldn't get past the first stage. You can say skill issue all you want, but the controls suck. Like literally, this game would be perfect if the controls weren't so bad. You move the tank with one joystick, aim with a different joystick, and shoot with a button. Now unless you have 3 hands, it'll be kinda hard to actually do anything in this game.
Hey guys, editing me here. Apparently the controls are even worse than that. You aim with one joystick, change the direction of the tank with one joystick, move forward with one button, go backward with a different one, and shoot with another different one. So you need 4 hands for it actually.
And you can't dodge anything because they made the bullets faster than the speed of light. Hey, this one's published by Ratalaika Games. So are those Midnight games. I'm starting to wonder what else they made. Oh, turns out they literally just published import games. But they release a trailer 4 times a month on their YouTube channel, and the latest one is a Backrooms game. Just saying. But relatedly, all the Midnight games in this game were developed by Petite Games, which is a pretty private company. They don't have a website and never posted on their Twitter account.
Hey guys, editing me here again. I was wrong again because the one time I checked their Twitter, my internet just wasn't working, I guess, so oops.
And there's another Midnight game called Birthday of Midnight, but it just looks the exact same as Midnight Deluxe. And according to the trailer, Midnight's a fairy? Dang, I didn't know fairies looked like that. Another one I kinda want to talk about is Cube Shift for the Wii U. This is a port of an Android game, and I heard that the controls on the Wii U gamepad actually improved the game a bit, so I think it's fine. My story with this game was that I was looking for free games on the Wii U eShop, back when that was a thing, and I found this, so of course I downloaded it. Everything about this game is dead simple. The gameplay, sound effects, visuals, music, well there's no music, but a cube is falling from the top of the screen and is landing on these blocks. You have to select the block you want to move and then put it left or right so the cube can pass through before the camera gets it off screen. But watch out, there's spiky blocks that the cube can't touch, and there's also 3 difficulties. I've only booted this game up once or twice because, well, look at it. It's not really a bad game, it's just, well, simple. But it's also free, so you can't really complain about it. But you know what isn't free, and you can complain about it? The next game is what I genuinely consider to be the worst game of all time. Rainbow Snake for the Nintendo 3DS. It's not even a basic Snake game, you can run into yourself without dying. And I'm not any Snake fanboy, but that's like the key gameplay element of Snake. And for some reason there's a delay after each button press, so getting dots on the edge of the stage is a hassle now. And there's no music, no title screen, and only 2 sound effects. And this cost $1. $1. You know, I can get a nice snack at Dollar Tree with $1. Oh wait, I forgot, they raised their prices. The game seems to have a sequel called Azure Snake, but looking at the game, wow, we sure have upped the budget in the graphics department, have we? And I guess Azure Snake is like actual Snake, but the game looks so slow. At least there's music, is that what we should really be paying attention to though? Thanks a lot, Random Spin, your company is impossible to search for because it just brings up wheel spinners. What other games did you make? Oh, for goodness sake, they put Rainbow Snake on Steam as well. And it's $3? I can get 2.4 things at the Dollar Tree with that. I think Random Spin is just a cash grab company. They made a ripoff of that banana game everyone thought they could make a living off of in 2024, and also a ripoff of that stupid Suika game craze around that same time as well. And they made a Backrooms game. Come on, what the heck does Inside the Escape even mean? I've been looking into this Random Spin company, and it's quite a mystery. Their website is gone now, but if you go on Wayback Machine, you can find social links. Their YouTube channel is gone because it broke their community guidelines, and their Twitter account is gone for the same reason. And their Facebook is deleted too. Holy crap, Random Spin, what did you do? The only 2 social medias that are still up are VK and Steam doesn't really count, so let's look at VK. But this doesn't really lead us anywhere because the last time they posted there was in 2020. But wait, they released some Steam games in 2024, but they accidentally listed the stupid Backrooms game as coming soon, even though it's out on the Nintendo Switch. So what's taking you so long for the PC release? Well anyway, the Nintendo Switch game was released in 2025, and that's where the line ends. It's been a little over a year since Random Spin has even teased a new game, and maybe it should stay that way. After all, nobody wants to play another Rainbow Snake. Oh yeah, what was this video about again?
Well, I didn't necessarily go off topic. Random Spin makes the worst games I've ever played.
Okay, so maybe you want to play Mario Maker 2, but you don't want to pay $60 for the game, and you don't want to pay another $20 to use any online features for a single year. And you can't play the original on Wii U because the online features were shut down. And there's no way you're playing the 3DS port. What are you, easy to please? Whatever, the online features were also shut down there, and there's definitely no way to get them back. So why did they make Mario Maker anyway? Well, Nintendo was too busy putting level editors in games like Excitebike, Wrecking Crew, and instead of their most popular game at the time. I mean, I know they wouldn't know it would be popular, but stay with me here. So when people started making fan games with level editors in them, Nintendo panicked and put their own on the Wii U, and they released it on 9/11 for some reason. And it was pretty dang good. You could choose from 4 game styles, place down a bunch of blocks, and play and share it online. Then, in 2016, they released a port for the 3DS, probably because the Wii U sold so badly. But poor is an exaggeration for the 3DS version. I'd say it's more of a demake. You had the basic level editor, of course, but they botched the online features, which was a big part of the Wii U version. When you made a level on the 3DS, you can only share it locally or via Street Pass, but you were able to play Wii U levels on the 3DS just fine.
If anything, this was just a demo for the Wii U version. But then the Switch was released, and then in 2019 we got Super Mario Maker 2. And then in 2020 they pussied out from adding any new content to it. They even put out a 5-minute video for the update. That's how much stuff was added.
You can even throw snowballs in snow-themed courses.
Did the snowball look like this?
But like, everyone's talking about how they wish 800 more things were in the game. But maybe that'll get added into Mario Maker 3. If Mario Maker 3 even releases. And does anyone else remember the Danny B Plays Rejected Update series? Why did they make 25 of those? If you don't know, it was just a bunch of gameplay ideas that were really bad, and that's the joke. And like, the joke was really bad.
And you can finally rickroll someone when you troll them.
Shut your fucking mouth!
Was anyone happy in 2023? Oh, this video was supposed to mainly be about Mario Maker alternatives or fan games anyway, so let's start with one. I Wanna Maker was fully released in 2023, and it's basically just an I Wanna Be the Guy version of Mario Maker 2. It's even got the story mode and endless modes. I mean, it's just good. That's it. But what about multiplayer modes? Well, there's rooms, as in that multiple people can play one map at the same time. Well, it's like unnecessary multiplayer. And what about the editor? Well, it's like a better version of the Mario Maker editor. It's a bit more advanced, has more music and sound effect options, and has more gameplay opportunities. And it's free on Steam. Get it now! Well, the game itself is great, but one thing I will say is that we haven't really gotten any news about the game since 2023, so I'm a little worried that the servers will shut down soon, especially since the game is free. This is Movie Star Planet type of stuff. This is fucked up. Okay, now you may be asking, what other Mario Maker alternatives are there? That's the only one. Well, if you want me to talk about the editor in Super Mario Bros. Remastered, there's that too, but it's pretty much just Mario Maker locked into a Super Mario Bros. 1 style. It does the job, but I don't know. And we also got Game Builder Garage, which is more of a game maker than a level creator, but it's just limited in a few ways that make it hard to make anything that's actually noteworthy. And it was more of a fad than an actual game because nobody really plays it anymore. And it's a shame because I could see it becoming a big thing. Now you may be wondering, again, what levels did I make? I haven't even really played the game since 2023, but do you really want to know? I had a level called Mario Gets Fat and Dies. I think that's enough explanation. What level creator games came before Mario Maker though? And like, not even Mario games. Would you believe me if WarioWare got its own level creator game before Mario Maker? It's called WarioWare DIY and is pretty dang solid, but it was in the DS and V days, so it was a bit harder to really share games with friends or online. I'm not gonna go too in depth about it because this is a Mario Maker video, but let me tell you, it was really solid. So what do people even do with the Mario Maker 2 game now that there won't be any new content ended? Well, pretty dang cool stuff. Even with the limited features, people have made mini games, recreations of other games, and more. People have even figured out how to make music with it. Like, look at this.
Hey, this is my song, and why don't you play it along? Hey! This song fucking sucks!
But there was also a bunch of weird stuff in both games. Like in Mario Maker 1, there was something called the Weird Mushroom, where Mario would get an eating disorder and be a basketball player at the same time. And there was another thing called the Amiibo Mushroom, which would turn Mario into a custom sprite based on the Amiibo in there. I don't know why it wasn't brought back in the sequel. Well, I have some ideas. It's either because people kept making collection levels where they showed off all the amiibos they could use, or because there's 930 of those action figures with barcodes at the bottom. I'm just not sure which. And we also got more exclusive stuff in Mario Maker 2, like the Super Mario Bros. 2 Mushroom, which was the cheap way out of actually letting people make levels in the style of Super Mario Bros. 2. It's a power-up which lets you pick up stuff, and it also changes some music.
You can even throw snowballs in snow-themed courses. Did the snowball look like this?
It's cool, I guess, but if you're gonna make a whole new power-up instead of just importing some sprites from Spriter's Resource, you might as well just make the theme. Okay, I'm getting way too defensive here. We also had the Zelda Sword, which was a cool custom power-up which lets you use a sword, shoot arrows, place bombs, pretty dang cool. And we also had 2 power-ups you were only able to get through the story mode, which takes 7.5 hours to fully complete. It's a Super Ball Flower, which just behaves like the Fire Flower in Super Mario Land, and the Builder Suit, which lets you place down and destroy blocks as you can jump on. I think there's a few more, but that's all that I know for sure. And another thing about the story mode, there's a bunch of items and features that you can only get in the story mode levels and you can't actually put them in your own levels. And why is that? That's such a stupid thing to do. I don't know why they did that. And it is stupid. And that sucks. Okay, bye. And also, go play I Wanna Make Her. The end.
What the hell are you talking about?
1, 2, 3, 4. Can we go home now? It's getting later, baby. Can we go home now? You think it's time to give up? We're on our own now. No place to drive you crazy. Don't share a home now. I'm okay till tonight.
Peanuts is that famous comic newspaper strip with Charlie Brown, Lucy, Snoopy, and all your other favorite characters. It got quite a few movies, merchandise, and other things. But with every successful license, it also got a few video games, so let's go take a look at them.
Oh, and here's a quick note, this is the most complete list I can make, so don't be surprised if I miss some ultra obscure Flash game that was only ever released on the Target website for a week or something.
So what was the first one? Oh, great!
Interestingly, it was a title in the LCD handheld line of systems, the Game & Watch. It's one of the only Game & Watch systems based off a licensed property. You can tell because it's not named something like Ball, Lifeboat, Tropical Fish. It's pretty dang simple, but you can't blame it for that, can you? The Big C throws something towards Snoopy, he has to hit it, and sometimes Lucy comes over to hit it back again, and it gets faster and more complicated. You have 3 lives, so rack up a high score.
Well, that's pretty neat. Too bad they only released one Peanuts-themed Game & Watch handheld.
Well, actually, they released another one just called Snoopy.
You're spoiling me here!
This time it was part of the Tabletop series, so it was bigger in size, but this game was also released in the Panorama line as well, which was a bit smaller. Schroeder, or whatever his name was, is playing his piano, but he's gonna wake up the dang birds, so Snoopy's gotta destroy the music notes with his hammer. It's difficult when you actually play it, but it's still a nice high score base thingy.
Wow, that's even neater! Too bad they only released 2 Peanuts-themed Game & Watch handhelds.
And this next game was released on the Atari 2600.
Oh!
It's called Snoopy and the Red Baron. You fly around as Snoopy and have to shoot down the Red Baron down for points. But be careful because it's trying to shoot you down as well. If you get shot too much, you die. But sometimes the Red Baron turns into a dog treat or a pumpkin or something, and if you collect it, you'll get extra points. Once you shoot down the Red Baron 4 times, it goes into some kind of intermission where you get more points based on how many times you shot the plane down. I don't know what the point of it is. I mean, it's a cool game, but like it feels like a throwaway one as well. Hey, at least there's music.
At least?
Now, if you think the high score-based games are boring, you're not ready for this. Now we gotta talk about an educational game. Yeah, I know. This one is called Charlie Brown's ABCs and it was released on the Commodore 64 and more in 1984. You press the letter key, it gives you something that starts with that letter. If you press the key again, it plays a small animation with Peanuts characters. And that's it. And somehow they made this game buggy. Sometimes when you're done looking at an animation, you have to spam press the letter key to go to a different animation, or it will just kick you to the animation you were already looking at. How do you mess up an alphabet game? But released the same year was Peanuts Maze Marathon, and it is the easiest maze game ever made. You just move dot and get to the X. That's it. And the only reason this even relates to Peanuts is because there's little artwork pieces everywhere. And they screwed this game up too. This time it's with the load times. From getting a maze from getting out of one, I had to wait like 20 seconds, and that might not seem so bad, but not until I compare the load times with the actual play time. It gets even worse. The next game is just called Snoopy for the Commodore 64, and it sucks. You have to get to the right side of the screen while avoiding obstacles, and after every 20 levels, the whole thing just loops. Except it gets faster. This game's controls are very horrible. It seems stiff just looking at it. On some levels, you have to dodge these dang lasers, but they're almost impossible to get by. This game was just made very lousily, and I don't think it's even officially licensed.
And there's yet another Commodore 64 title, and it's called Snoopy to the Rescue. I think it's like math related or something. I don't know. There's like a cool animated cutscene at the start. I don't care. I don't like it. And there's still 3 more Commodore 64 games.
Commodore 64, more like Commodore.
First is Snoopy Writer. It's just a basic notepad app with Snoopy characters. Well, I mean, I guess you can also like make a picture and there's story starters, but that's it.
How is this a video game? Just grab a pen and paper and write your own fan fiction.
Like, maybe if you were able to print out your story, it would be worth anyone's file, but you couldn't. And why not? There are a gazillion printers made for the thing. Next up is Snoopy's Reading Machine. I was able to fill in the blank with a letter for this word, but like, that was it. It didn't even let me exit.
I found a Let's Play video for this game online, and it was just the game crashing. But like, you know, I don't think it gets much better than that anyway.
And then Snoopy looked at me with hyper-realistic bloodshot eyes. What the heck is this, man? And finally, it's Snoopy Skywriter Scrambler. Do you know the jumble in the newspaper? It's kind of like that. It gives you a regular word, and then you have to use the letters in that word to make more words. What could be better?
I don't know, a noise complaint? But like, I don't think the game has any sounds in the first place. I don't.
But don't worry, because we're done playing on the Commodore 64 and Atari 2600 and Bally Astrocade. Now we have our first real video game, Snoopy Silly Sports Spectacular. Yeah, only the real men play this one. In this game, Snoopy, Spike, and Woodstock are in Italy and Greece, and they're trying to set a world record or something like that. There are 6 games. Pogo, in which you use a pogo stick to jump over the walls, but it doesn't have very good controls. You jump barely high enough and move slowly, so it's pretty hard to get it done. Then there's Overboard, where you have to push your opponent out of a boat and onto the cold water. Well, don't do that, you'll get hypothermia and assault charges. And there's also Pile of Pizza, where you have to pile a pizza and gotta get it to the finish line. But it's not too good because it makes you balance the pile, but there's never any time to react when it starts wobbling. Then it's Sack Race, and you race in potato sacks and get to the finish first, but you also better watch out for the potholes. And there's also boot throwing, but you know, you just throw a boot the farthest you can. But the worst one is River Jump. You need to pull out over a river, but the instructions just say to do it at the right time, and you can't ever get the right time. You just always fail. Come on, this is just winter games all over again. You can either play one game or do a marathon of all 6. It's an okay game, despite its many issues, but the thing is, this isn't even a true Peanuts game. It's a port of alternative world games for the Commodore 64 with fewer games, and in Japan, Snoopy's replaced with Donald Duck for some reason.
Fun fact, did you know in the original run of the Peanuts comic strip, there's never been an animal featured? Crazy, right? Because it's wrong. I'm lying.
And now we're going back to the old computer games. This one's called Snoopy the Case of the Missing Blanket, but it's also called Snoopy the Cool Computer Game. It's kind of a point and click game, but this was before all of those were on consoles, so you just walk around and interact with objects. But it's so boring. Not only are the puzzles the most random things to do, there's never any clues on what you're supposed to do anyway. I found this written out walkthrough online. How are we supposed to know that you have to eat all the cookies in a cookie jar and then put a frog in the empty jar to make a barrel rise up? This game is just way too slow. You can beat the whole thing in about 20 minutes anyway, given you know all the puzzles beforehand. We've had a streak of bad and just okay games, but now it's time for one that actually isn't that bad. This one is called Snoopy Magic Show for the Game Boy. It's a puzzle game this time around. You have to collect all these wood stocks, but there are these balls bouncing around that you have to avoid. There's a lot of gimmicks as well. Like there's these blocks that you can push, ones you can destroy, ones that turn on and off and waste the timer, and more balls are introduced too. Overall, this is a pretty solid game, but what does it have to do with the Peanuts? This is kind of like the game Garfield's Labyrinth, where it has the characters of the media, but the rest of the game is detached from those characters. I'm pretty sure that the main reason this happens is to market the video game because recognizable characters would generate more profit. In other words, shovelware. And guess what? I was right. There are some leftover graphics and early developer screenshots that show the game was going to be called Death Ball, and localization would call it Heart Attack in the US. Still a good game nonetheless. And then we got Snoopy Concert for the Super Famicom. That's right, this one is a Japanese exclusive. You use a unique SNES mouse peripheral here and click around to move Snoopy. And I'll give the game this, visually and musically, this game is awesome, but gameplay wise,
I don't know what the dang I'm ever supposed to do!
You click on a character and play a bunch of levels where you do a bunch of stuff like platforming, but platforming is hard with this weird control scheme. But then I go on a walkthrough and all the puzzle levels seem so obvious. Am I just stupid or something? Just because it's unique doesn't mean you should do it. This game represents the comic very well though. But hold on, Snoopy's Magic Show got a sequel only for Japan as well. It's called Snoopy's Errand Adventures, and it's yet another puzzle game. I think it's kind of like those games you play in the school Chromebooks when you're really little that say they teach you how to code, but just help you know about sequences.
I mean, it's fine, but like, it's just fine, and that's it.
There's also this weird minigame collection called Snoopy's Game Club that was released on DOS. It was just 3 puzzle games. We have a slide puzzle, except it isn't a sliding puzzle because it just isn't, an easy card matching game, and a game where you need to match 2 items that look the same. What's interesting is that this game came with 4 crayons and a free membership to the Accolade Kids Club. Wow!
It's like the prize in your cereal.
Okay, so now we got kind of a streak of old edutainment games for the PC. I'm not gonna spend too much time on these. I mean, who wants to hear me talk about an educational game for 8 minutes? Well, I guess that's what I've already been doing, but whatever. The first one is called Get Ready for School, Charlie Brown. It's a lot like the Living Book series of books. A bit of the story plays out, and then you can click on every little thing for a little animation or song. But there's also little mini games throughout all the pages, like this dress up mini game and this Mad Lib styled game. And then we got Snoopy's Campfire Stories. I can't find a way to play this one though, and after looking through a long play, I still don't know what's going on. I think that's kind of a glorified minigame collection. You can play as a character with their own storyline and minigames, and each character has their own campfire story that Snoopy types out. So yeah. And there's also this weird Yearn to Learn series of games. These were 5 or so educational games released for the PC and Mac. The list consisted of Master Snoopy's Math, Master Snoopy's Spelling, Master Snoopy's World Geography, Peanuts, and Snoopy. They're just educational games. I don't think there's anything worth saying about them.
You know, most of these games aren't Peanuts games, they're Snoopy games. I mean, there's like 15 characters to choose from. Why only choose one? I mean, I guess they aren't all as popular as Snoopy. I don't think you're gonna, like, play Pigpen Parking Meter. Oh, wait, there's alliteration. Maybe we should do that one.
And guess what? We're playing another LCD game now. This one's called Snoopy's Parachute Catch Game from Tiger Electronics. It's kind of unique. You use a slider controller to catch these falling Snoopies as indicated from the lights. Except it's not unique because Tiger made a similar Rugrats handheld with the same controls. And with that, we start moving into the 2000s with Snoopy Tennis on the Game Boy Color. It's a tennis game, but like, it's a tennis game. What do you expect me to say about it? Well, I guess it's not just a tennis game. There's 4 different modes. The first one is Power Mode, which just is a mode of power-ups. But like, there's a power-up that makes you lose immediately, and another one that makes you win immediately, so like, eh. Then there's Point Race, in which you have to rack up as many points as you can within 2 minutes. You can also use the Game Link cable to play it multiplayer. There's also Sudden Win, which I'm still not really sure what it is. I think it's just a shorter game, but the manual states that you just play until first break of serve. If I knew tennis terms, I could tell you what that meant. And then there's Squash. It's just regular tennis, except the walls are sloping, so you could hit weird angles if you wanted to. It's a cool addition, but it doesn't really change up the game as much as you think it really would. The next one is Where's the Blanket, Charlie Brown. I decided to go through the effort of setting up a virtual machine for this one, but the game ran like actual peanuts and the aspect ratio was like, eighth of the game was gone, so I had to look through Let's Plays again. This is another point and click game, but a more traditional one this time. What's interesting is that at the start you can choose to follow Charlie Brown or Lucy. I mean, it's really just another point and click game. There's nothing really cool here. Sure, there's minigames, but name a kid's point and click game that doesn't have a minigame, medium game, or large game. But guess what? There's another game just called Snoopy released for Windows, and look at this. Wait a second, who is that? Yeah, this is a bit of an intermission here. This is actually an extended remake of the Commodore 64 game, but I guess they were worried that they would get sued if they had the original characters, so they just opted for this yellow dog instead. I would play it myself, but I don't trust a website that has to reassure me that what I'm downloading doesn't have any spyware or adware.
There's actual worlds and 100 levels instead of just like an endless loop, so I guess you could say you're out of a loop.
The next one is Snoopy vs. the Red Baron for PS2, PC, and PSP. I'm going to play the PSP version for this. So this is a 3D aerial defense game. Actually our first 3D game anyway. Cool, huh? So you really just go through missions, shoot down enemies, and do objectives. There's also a separate dogfight mode where you try to shoot down another plane. But this guy's really good. I immediately lost. This game is fun. I liked it. But I thought that there should be more to talk about in this game. I mean, there's this 3D animated cutscenes in a store, and I think there's multiplayer, but I'm not really sure. The next one is called It's the Big Game, Charlie Brown, and it was only released on PC. You know what that means.
It's another point-and-click game. Oh boy, I'm so excited!
So for this one, you need to form Charlie Brown's baseball team for the season. And yeah, there's mini games if you couldn't figure it out from context clues. But guess what? There's an actual baseball game here. It's actually pretty thorough. There's throwing styles, catching and stuff. I don't know anything about baseball, I'm sorry. And then you win and everybody celebrates. But I mean, it's just another educational point-and-click game. I don't have much to say about this game, other than the guy who voices Charlie Slime Out Your Barber Brown sounds like he's about to fall asleep.
Maybe tomorrow will be better. I need to round up my team in time for our first game.
Good job!
Tomorrow.
And looking at reviews, what do you mean it was criticized for not having enough skill needed for it? Of course it doesn't have any skill needed for it. It's for 6-year-olds. And now we're still on baseball, but at least we're on consoles. This one is called Charlie Brown's All-Stars, released for the PS2, PSP, Wii, and Xbox 360 in 2007. Or at least it should have. Yep, this game actually never released, and all we have of it is a few screenshots and renders, a video of an unfinished game menu, this ad in the game magazine, and an interview. Apparently this was just going to be a regular baseball game, but 4 party games are also mentioned.
This is going to be pretty ambitious, 70 characters in the roster, but there's only like 20 recurring characters, so like, who are the other like characters going to be? Was I going to be able to play as Unnamed Ponytail Girl or Crybaby Booby?
Why was it cancelled anyway? Well, according to the Cancelled Games wiki, Farsight had too many projects on their plate at that time, and there just weren't enough staff members to work on this. It stinks, this game actually looked pretty cool. Oh, by the way, there's another unreleased video game that we actually do have. Good Luck Charlie Brown for the Atari 2600. We only have an unfinished prototype dated 1984, and you just had to fly your kite for as long as possible without hitting obstacles. This was supposed to be a part of Atari's Children line of games, but that was cancelled before this game could be finished, so that kinda cancelled this one too. The game was already being developed farther than its supposed release date anyway. And then in 2008 we got a DS game called Snoopy DS, Let's Go Meet Snoopy and His Friends, but it was Japanese exclusive, and there wasn't a fan-made English translation available, so I didn't know what to do. But at the start you get to choose if you're a boy or a girl, and then you walk around and talk to everybody. But like, I still don't know what to do, and I couldn't even find a wiki page for this that told me what to do. I think it's just one of those little kiddie games made to shut up little babies for 8 hours or something, but like, again, I don't know.
This is gonna be peak fiction, and I'm locked out of it. But it's also Snoopy DS, Let's Go Meet Snoopy and His Friends. So, I think I'm gonna abandon that idea for now.
Next one is Snoopy Flying Ace for Xbox Live Arcade. And do you remember Snoopy vs. the Red Baron? Well, this is pretty much the same thing. There's more advanced attacks and an actual multiplayer and co-op mode, but really it's just a sequel. Still looks pretty good. And now we're moving into the mobile games era. Yeah, you know, the mobile game craze of the 2010s where every single mascot had to have their own game like Garfield Rush, Walmart Tap, A&W Clean, Noun Verb. Yeah, those games. So anyway, here's Snoopy's Street Fair. It's a town building game. Why were there so many of those? So the story goes that Charlie Brown's baseball team can't afford to get new costumes, so now they have to make money for that. And it goes just as you think all these mobile town building games go. You put up stores and attractions, and once time has passed, you can collect in-game currency to put up more stores and attractions.
But wait, it takes too long for my Snoopy coins to come by. Better grab Mom's wallet and pay $100 to speed that up.
And then the game gets discontinued after a while.
They totally ripped that off from The Simpsons Tapped Out.
Yeah, I guess I forgot to mention that this was also the mobile game craze where people didn't actually make unique gameplay elements. Like Snoopy Coaster, that's just an endless runner game. And a reskin of another game called Mad Coaster. And Snoopy's Sugar Drop, that's just a Candy Crush ripoff. And I guess the developers were still on some sugar because we also got Snoopy's Candy Town. And guess what? It was another dang town management sim. But in 2015, the Peanuts movie was released. Sorry to all those fans of cashews. And hey, it was a pretty good movie, I'd say, so of course it got a video game. The Peanuts movie Snoopy's Grand Adventure was released in 2015 for the Wii U, 3DS, PS4, and Xbox One. It's a platforming game, but it's just a cool platforming game. There's boss fights and this gimmick where you fly Woodstock over places to interact with objects in the courses. When I played this game, it was just really boring. You can tell that this game was really made for kids, but I still think that has its place on a game shelf. But we're back to the mobile games with Snoopy Pop, and it's just a generic color-coded bubble shooter game.
And I'm not even gonna mention Snoopy's Town Tale, because guess what it was?
And it wasn't until 2023 until we got a new Peanuts video game, which was Pinball FX Peanuts Snoopy's Pinball. Yeah, it was a pinball game.
Everyone loves pinball, that's why they released Pinball, Spinball.
I mean, it's pinball. Pinball with a Peanuts reskin, of course, and voice lines too, which sure is charming, but for goodness sakes, it's pinball. And it's just DLC for Pinball FX, if anything. And now we have our last game so far, Snoopy and the Great Mystery Club for the Switch and Switch 2 and PS5. So yeah, this is our newest game so far. It's a detective and puzzle game, but I'm still not really sure what you do in this game. You solve clues and switch between alter egos to solve some puzzles, and there's minigames. Well, it's a kiddie game, you gotta put some minigames in. But it just feels like shovelware. Most of the games feel like shovelware. I went through like 30 of these video games, and I didn't really like any of these.
You know what, how about we look at the Peanuts board games instead? Those gotta be better, right?
Peanuts Clue.
Killed somebody?
Good job.
I got money in my bank account, and every time I look in my bank account, there's $500
I'm not taking my sneakers off. I have sneakers on. I'm not taking my sneakers off. I'm not taking my sneakers off. I'm not taking my sneakers off. I am sneakers on too. Take them off now.
Game for birthdays. While about 10 to 15 copies were originally
Good job.
I love video games. But they seem so overrated. I mean, you're telling me this is all there is to it? Dang, I didn't know that's what that button did.
Splash screens are those little animations or pictures before you actually start a game. Like, you navigate to the game you want to play and whoa, slow down there, Eminem's Kart Racing, you're making me a little too excited. I guess that's kind of stretching it though. Out of the book, a splash screen just means a little logo or animation that plays before any type of software to notify the user that it's loading. And that definition doesn't really apply to some of these examples, but they apply well enough, so here we are. But what was the first console to have a unique thingy splash screen for each game? Well, on the original DS, each game had a unique icon alongside its title and developer. And that was really it. But on the DSi, most DSiWare games and software apps had animated icons. But those weren't so special as well. They were as good as the Wii save data icons. But developers sure can do a lot with a simple animation or picture. Oh wait, the Wii! The Wii is probably the most unique one here. After getting into the main menu, you would see all these little channels in a 4x3 layout. And each game had its own little icon in the channel menu. These were always really simple, just playing like a dinky animation with the game logo showing up, of course. But once you clicked on the menu, that was a different story. Oh, wrong one. These are called channel banners. They consist of a unique animation with a jingle or looping music. The developers wanted to do that, of course. I think I accidentally made this in Google Slides once. So with all of these, the customization was all up to the developers. Either they can make it look good, or they don't, but it didn't really matter. If you played a game via the SD card menu, you would only be able to view the channel banner for like 4 seconds before it forced you into the game. And this was after a long progress bar too, like it just fades to black, and I'm wondering if it's gonna say that the system files are corrupted. Oh, but with the help of Homebrew and an app called Customize Me, you can make your own little channel banners in the .wad file format. I chose Miralax. And that's all I have to say for Wii splash screens. But the best channel banner is Let's Tap. That shit looks like a music video. The 3DS had something kind of similar. They did away with the animated icons, unless of course it was a DSi game, but there were 3D banners that kinda took the place of them. Once you highlighted pretty much anything, you would get a little 3D loop and animation plus a jingle. These weren't as thorough as the Wii ones though. A little secret though is that if you blew into the mic, the animation would speed up. Neat. But still, developers had to choose to make their banners look good. If they wanted, they could just choose a 2D image plus a jingle, and then that was it. It was a little bit similar to the PSP splash screens. Each time you highlighted a game, the background would change to some artwork that relates to the game or something. Sometimes there was custom music, and sometimes they animated the game icon like the Parappa the Rapper port. There could also be little info panels that gave details about the game, but these were mostly the PS1 ports or PSP minis. Now these were cool, they're kinda like the Wii ones.
Oh, speaking of the Wii, let's see how the Wii U is doing.
That was it? Just a still picture and music?
Oh crap, we're downgrading. Quick, what's the Nintendo Switch one look like? Well, that's just lazy.
But wait, What about the 3DS's main competitor, the PS Vita? Once you clicked on an icon, you would get this neat paper thing with a custom picture. There wasn't any custom music, but you could view the manual and stuff with these top buttons, and if the developers chose to, they could add extra buttons in places. Most of the times they were just buttons that would open up specific pages in the web browser, but that's okay because the Vita has the best web browser out of any console, no argument. Sometimes buttons could start the game up at different points or something, and if you scroll down you would see some weird thing called activities, although I don't have a PlayStation Network account so I don't really know what it is. Well, I guess that's every console that has relatively interesting splash screens.
But wait, what about the Gizmodo? Did that have any unique splash screens?
Well, I wish I knew, but now the website is owned by someone who talks about their cool LED watch collection. And I don't want to talk about a console that has a game called Sticky Balls on it. Also, who said that? Okay, imagine you're a dumb kid in the 2000s and your family's going on a road trip. But you want to watch your SpongeBob. And you can't. But that's where video now comes in. And it's also where it comes out because it was so bad you might as well throw it out the car window. So what was the Video Now anyway? Well, it was a portable media player that took these little discs called PVDs or personal media discs and played videos on them. So why am I calling it so bad anyway? Well, I'm just going to read the Wikipedia passage for the first ever model and I'll see if you can figure it out. Video Now, the first model released on July 17, 2003. Its non-backlit screen has a resolution of 80 by 80 non-square pixels and can display up to 16 shades of gray. It uses 85mm 3.3-inch discs. Do you see it now? The Game Boy had a better resolution to this, and it was released 14 years before this, so what are we doing? I mean, the Video Now had fine sound quality, but that was like the only good thing. Most of the content released for the thing was Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network shows, and there was a little bit of Disney content and some music video compilations too. A small few movies were also released onto the Video Now, but one movie was across like 3 PVDs. Why though? Unfortunately, PVDs were only able to hold about 30 minutes of video, and a typical TV episode about 20 to 23 minutes long, so the rest of the PVD was just filled up with trailers. Like the start of a DVD, so like, why didn't people just use portable DVD players? Portable DVD players were about $150 to $300 in 2003, which comes up to $260 to $520 today, which is a bit iffy, but the Video Now was only $50 as a debut price. So the Video Now sold more than 1.2 million units. This sucks. Wow, that must have hurt. Get it? Because I'm so empathetic. Like, Phantom hit. Shut up! 1 year later though, the Video Now Color was released, and if you rearrange the letters in Video Now Color, you get big improvement, because that's what it was. Unlike the first model, now we have color, and a backlit screen, and a better resolution, and the ability to fast forward and rewind video, and be backwards compatible with the first model's PVDs, and have bigger discs, and it was fine. It had a different model too, this time it looked cool. That's all I have to say about the color one though, it's just what the original Video Now should have been. The same year though, Play School released the Video Now Junior. It was basically a version of the Video Now Color but for preschoolers, with its rubber sides, bigger buttons, you know, all of the stops. It also had unique bendable discs. The shows released for this were all preschool shows too, like Nick Jr. shows. I'm pretty sure that this is the rarest model too. Not like it's expensive, I just don't see it on sale that much. Just a little tip for the Video Now collectors. Oh my god, shut up! But technically the rarest model is a special Kool-Aid Red Video Now, which was only available through Kool-Aid points. It's pretty expensive now for a crappy video player. There's also a special SpongeBob Color Video Now Color, but it's not as expensive. The next year, in 2005, the Video Now XP was released with a clamshell design. Portable DVD players were starting to get a little bit cheaper by this time, so they probably tried to trick parents by making this one look kind of like one. For some reason, this one was kind of focused on gaming functionality, but the only games released on the thing were those crappy QuickTime event type games that no one actually likes. I saw one of these video games at a thrift store for $5 once, and that's my only personal experience with it. All PVDs released during the Video Now XP's lifetime also included a quiz that was only able to be played on the XP, but the regular videos were still played on other models. And 1 year later, the last model was released, the Video Now Color FX, which was identical to the Video Now Color, but now with translucent plastic. Who could blame them? It was the 2000s.
Plus, 4 accessories were released for the Video Now. The first was the Video Now Lite, a light for the original Video Now that let you view the screen at all. It needed a separate battery. Then we got a carrying case, guess what it did? And we also had the Video Now Media Wizard, a program to make custom DVDs for every model but the original. Some people would just burn a video onto a CDR and literally cut the disc so it would fit into the spinner. There was also a Video Now themed camcorder that shipped with the Media Wizard, but who cares about that?
And that's how the Video Now brand died, and with it the entire Now brand, because this was a line. The Now thing, that was a line.
But there was still one problem. Discs. You're watching SpongeBob in the car, but the car is bumping and jumping, so you're bumping and jumping, and now the Video Now is bumping and jumping, and the disc is bumping and jumping, so now the video is bumping and jumping and jittering and unwatchable. And the Video Now had 3 main competitors. One of them was the juice box from Mattel Electronics.
Juice box? I'll show you a juice box. DJ, how about you juice me up? Okay.
This one solved the disc problem by using cartridges instead. It was in color and smaller, but the quality was still pretty bad. Cartoon Network, 4Kids, and other media were released on the thing, and there was also this strange thing called the Juicebox MP3 and Photo Viewer, which let you put in an SD card up to 512 megabytes and do just that. But not videos though. You couldn't view videos, and that was stupid. Another thing, apparently like the actual Juicebox unit was coated in some like weird material, and through age it made the whole unit sticky, and that was not cash money. I think the Juicebox is worse than the Video Now anyway, and it costed $70, and probably had way worse overall quality than the Video Now Color, which was only $75. That's probably why it got discontinued less than a year after its release.
But I guess it makes sense. Juice boxes always suck anyway. Get it? 'Cause straws.
And for some reason, Nintendo of all companies decided to participate in the competition as well, with GBA Video in 2004. Oh! That's what the Video Now XP was meant to look like. And that's also why it had gaming functionality. Dang. Anyway, this was a line of cartridges for Game Boy Advance systems that included TV shows and movies. This one had more choices of media too. Nickelodeon, Nick Jr., Cartoon Network, Disney, Funimation, and DreamWorks movies. Anyway, these were alright, I guess. The commercials made it seem like they were just a straight episode onto a GBA cartridge, but they were way compressed like everything else.
TV shows on the go. TV shows on the go. It's GBA Video. Game Boy Advance Video.
Now Game Boy Advance plays games.
They also released movies onto this, like I said, but like, for goodness sakes, that's a horrible idea. The movie catalog was Shrek, Shrek 2, and Shark Tale. Each one got their own separate release, and Shrek and Shrek 2 had a bundle release, except each movie was still in their own cart. But for some stupid reason, they put Shrek and Shark Tale on a single cartridge as a bundle, and it looked like horrible.
What was the plan here? I mean, it's barely watchable as it is.
Oh, really? You in what army?
Anyway, Game Boy Advance Video went down in history as a thing that left probably no impact on anything ever. But that wasn't the only major time videos were released on game consoles. The PlayStation Portable had UMD Video launched in 2004, and well, it was probably the best one out of all of these. It had TV shows and movies and music videos and something I cannot say released on it, and it was fine. I guess all I have to say about it is the size constraints, because even though the quality was good, they couldn't fit too much on the small 1GB discs. And that's why some TV shows had to be released in volumes rather than just, well, releases. Also, they released way too much on this. I guess they thought this was gonna be like some big thing, but like, I don't know, if GBA Video, Video Now, and the Juicebox didn't work out, I don't think this one's gonna work out well. It's not completely because of the quality, it's just because, well, oh, you couldn't watch a video on a road trip. But like, they put so much onto it, like you're just gonna only watch videos on the PSP, and like, no one's gonna do that. And that was the main 4 competitors. The Juicebox was better than Video Now, GBA Video was better than the Juicebox, Video Now Color was better than GBA Video, and UMD Video was better than all the other stuff. But listen here, now we got some extras! You see, there were some more media players released in the 2000s, but they weren't really part of the competition because no one cared about them. Really, these were basic media players that for some reason had physical video releases for them. I don't know, they fit into the category. In order of release, the first one was the Pixter, specifically the Pixter Multimedia System. This is kind of weird. It had video streaming capabilities, but all the videos released for it were just clips from shows with some sort of software with it. It's very, very obscure what any of these really were. Each cart would have TV show clips with either a cartoon creator software, video creator software, or scene creator software. Then we got the DigiBlast! This was a Dutch game console media player hybrid. There were some proper games released for the thing, like Atari Classics, Rayman 3, and a bunch of other stuff, but some TV shows were released on it too. Mainly kids shows like Sonic X, SpongeBob SquarePants, and each cart had a playtime of around 75 minutes. And then, in 2007, we got arguably the most obscure one here, the N-Power Fusion. These were a line, I think, of Nickelodeon-themed media players. They all ran on Java and were supposed to play music, games, videos, and photos. I'm not sure if you could just put any SD card in it or something.
I mean, I'm not sure how you would even get games on the thing in the first place. Oh wait, I can learn. I'll just go to npowerfusiontutorials.blogspot.com.
No one has heard of this thing. Why was that made?
The only reason I'm talking about this is because there were 4 releases for this. 4 video releases. There were some Nickelodeon episodes, they all were just on an SD card. What was this thing? Nobody should care about these. Everybody's like, ooh, they had personality. For goodness sakes, if this is the cost of personality, I will be characterless. We got YouTube. We got streaming services. We got YouTube on streaming services. What's the point of that?
It doesn't matter anyway. Now I can watch YouTube anytime I can.
But here's the real twist. SpongeBob was on every single one of these media players I just mentioned. Every single one. And you want to know what the plan was? SpongeBob was going to take out each media player system company from the inside out for the N-Power Fusion player. And when that didn't work out, what do you think they did? They went to Prime Goddamn Video.
So there, that's the story of how everybody made a media player thing that everybody had in the 2000s. And it was...
Hey guys, today I'm gonna tell you about the game Recycle Fighters. Just kidding, that doesn't exist. I lied. But do you know what else doesn't exist? Polybius. Not polyrhythm, not polyamorous, but Polybius. Everyone probably knows about this one, but rumor goes that the game started appearing in various arcade machines in Portland, Oregon. The title screen says that the game was developed by Sinneslosion, which is German, and it translates to sensory deprivation. Apparently, if you played the game, you would suffer from amnesia, seizures, night terrors, and hallucinations. And the game was so addictive that someone died from it. Oh man!
And also, people dressed in black would come to the arcade and collect records from it. And also, psychological messages flashed on screen.
I don't know about you guys, but this sounds real. Whoa, is there a bumblebee? Whoa.
The first mention of the game is a page on coinop.org, someone's hobby site about arcade games. So like, the actual game is described as abstract, fast action with puzzle elements. And that's basically it. No, that's just it. Other people say that it was kind of like games like Cube Quest and Tempest, but those claims are coming from people saying they've seen the game. And we already know the dang game isn't real, and look at the article.
No, it's not a Tempest prototype, it's not a vector game, and also Stephen Roach is full of himself.
What type of name is Stephen Roach? This article is so funny, it says someone who played it turned into a big anti-video game crusader or something. The whole myth is that mysterious arcade machines popped up in a few arcades, and the game was very addictive and gave people nightmares, and someone died from it, and like I could just go on and on here. There's never any evidence of the game existing, so that's that. There's a lot more to this, so I'd encourage you to check a Hoy's video on it after mine, because it goes more in detail, like way more.
So when people think of fake video games, that's what most people think of. But what about the other ones?
The next one is called Kill Switch. It was a 1989 game released by Carvina Corporation onto floppy disks. You could either play as Porto or a demon named Gast. The problem with the Ghast character is that he was completely invisible even though he had fire breath and his fire steam attack. Gordo's only ability was to have random sizes or something. You awaken a coal mine and must traverse through levels seeking a way out. You then find out that you were once an employee there and investigate stuff. Ooh. Near the end, you find a tape recorder telling you the fires of the earth had risen up in their defense and flowed into the hearts of the decrepit pre-revolution equipment they used and awakened them to avenge the workers.
Or whatever that means. Am I right, fellas?
And then the solution to get past that part is to digest coke, like the drug, and then you'll be able to go on to the final levels of the mine. After crawling out of the mine to the surface, the screen suddenly goes white.
And then the game just deletes itself, same as if you die at any point of the game. And there were only 5,000 copies made, so that's all the chances you've got. And everyone sucks at the game too.
The rest of the story goes that the last copy of the game was auctioned to somebody named Yamamoto Toyoichi for $733,000, intending to showcase his progress through the game. But the only video that ever resurfaced was a 1 minute and 45-second video of him sitting at the computer, title screen visible over his right screen.
And he's crying, man. He's crying.
This originated on a short-lived fantasy blog titled InvisibleGames.net, and it was pretty obscure, which might contribute to why some people thought it was real when it got spread around. What didn't help was some channel named Gas 1989 uploading supposed game footage, which didn't actually look too bad. Then the original short story was put into Catherine M. Valente's anthology, The Melancholy of Mecha Girl. Basically, the whole thing originated from a short story, but then it turned into an urban legend where some people thought it was a real thing, so there.
Money on my motherfucking mind. Cut 5 haircuts at the same time. White gold pants, jet ski, made of wine. Foie gras, bust of Albert Einstein. Get money.
This next one was a creepypasta.
Ooh, now that's scary. It's called Misfortune.gb, and it's crazy. This Game Boy game was apparently a sub-game in some copies of other Game Boy games. You agreed about this weirdo. The original story calls it a demon, but dude, the Nightmare is a more convincing demon than this. It's a maze game. Each level has locked doors, holes, traps, and more. You have to go down the correct doors, staircase, whatever.
There's a lot of guessing gameplay like that, and if you make even one mistake, it's game over. And also you get depression. No, that's what the story says. The game over screen gives you depression.
If you or a loved one has fallen victim to the Misfortune.gb game over screen, you're probably fucked. I don't know what to do. I got all these from the Gaming Urban Legends wiki. Why is this on here? Like, Kill Switch is kind of believable, aside from the fact that a $773,000 auction price for a video game would probably make some sort of news. At least CNN 10. And Polybius, well, I don't know why people believe that one actually, but I guess some people thought this one was real out of everything. Oh dang, the story says that some people who talked about the game went missing.
Oh snap! Now I'm worried I'm suddenly gonna disappear. Come on.
This one is called Sad Satan. Geez, this is the 3rd game in a row to mention demons or devils of some type. This game was discovered by a channel named Obscure Horror Corner, which plays obscure horror games. The gameplay is just a walking simulator with some girls that appear every now and then. Some images flash on the screen every once in a while, and they aren't any good. And at the end, a girl follows you, causing you to die for some reason. Obscure Horror Corner says they got it from a Tor hidden service link after a tip from a subscriber. And the subscriber says they got it from a deep web link, but that just sounds like buzzword, doesn't it? Ha 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 ha. And then a supposed download link was uploaded on a 4chan forum, but this version had potentially illegal pictures and just straight up illegal pictures plus malware. Technically the game did exist, but some people say that Obscure Horror Corner made the games themselves to start their own myth or urban legend, and in the end nobody has the original game.
Okay, now how about we talk about games that are actually cool? Oh man, this one is crazy. This was a 2007 hoax coming from Electric Gaming Monthly, the magazine. Yeah, I know. And it said that Mushroom Kingdom, it said that Kingdom Hearts was crossing over with Mario. But it was unofficial. No, it wasn't. It was an April Fool's joke. Sorry. And that was it.
This one spawned from a fake trailer released in 2007, saying if you got 120 power stars as Mario and then 121 power stars as Luigi, and then fed them out to a hungry Luma, you would unlock a new galaxy which let you get a DS port of Super Mario Galaxy downloaded through Download Play. And every power star you got in the DS version would get you 10 points in the Wii Shop channel. First of all, who would hide something like this so well, and why would a greedy company like the Big Tendo give something out for free? It was just a very well-made fake trailer from Pablo Belmont, who's responsible for other hoaxes, including the infamous Nintendo On video.
But now there's an ongoing homebrew project to port Super Mario Galaxy to the DS, so what are we doing? What are we doing? City 2000, also known as City in Trouble Year 2000, is a DOS point-and-click game. But on the back of the box, there's a sequel mentioned, City 2000 Paris, also known as City in Trouble Year 2000 Paris. But you can't find the game anywhere. It must have been unreleased? No, it was unproduced. Why? French law says because of French law saying that everyone in the game needs permission to be in it or something. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I don't. What does that have to do with anything?
This is my freestyle, and you know the game. Every time I know it, you know the game. Hey, this is my freestyle. If you don't know the game, it's probably fake. You know, not a day. It's too much. You're a headache.
I wrote the song about Nintendo games. Tell me, I'm gonna sing it. What do you it's just
Hey, wanna play a fun game? Got all that? Good. Now remember it. That was a fun game, right?
Well, apparently that basic memory gameplay is fun enough, because in 1978, Simon hit store shelves, and left a bruise too. The original model had 3 game modes and 4 skill levels. The base game was that 4 buttons would light up and play a sound in a sequence, and you would have to repeat the sequence. The sequence would get longer and faster up until you took too much time trying to repeat it, or you failed. But if you were on the 4th skill level, after repeating a 31 signal sequence, Simon would die, or whatever the manual's getting at. The other 2 game modes were really just little changes to suit a multiplayer game, and that was really everything going for this. I mean, I guess it really was that unique because it sold 10 million units. But was it really that unique? The game was actually based off the Atari 1974 arcade game called Touch Me, and it was more or less the same thing, except it sucks. There was a pocket version of it released in 1978, which is basically just the original 1978 Simon game with a different look. Apparently the sounds from the Touch Me game were harsh and grating, but the tones from the Simon buttons were designed to be harmonic, no matter what order they were played in, although the notes differed from each version. And then in 1979, Super Simon was released. This had 8 buttons, a new skill level called Head to Head, a selection for speed was added, there were 5 games in this model, although I couldn't really find out what they were, and there was a decision button added, but I also couldn't figure out what it did. So what was the deal with Super Simon? Why'd you make it?
I really like buttons. It's kind of a problem for other people.
A problem with both of these models were that they were really big. So in 1980, the Pocket Simon was released. It was really just the first Simon game, but smaller and equipped with a little table at the bottom to eat peas off of while you played. Didn't really matter anyway, because in 2006 we got the world's smallest Simon, but I'm jumping ahead here. Not much happened besides this rebrand of the original game in 1997, which opted for a clearer design look, but I don't think it looked as good. It wasn't until 2000 did we get a new Simon game called Simon Squared. On one side it's just the original Simon game, but when you flip it over, you get 8 little buttons you can take off and eat. It's not optional. On the classic 4-button side, you can play Classic Simon, where it gives you sequences every time you get the right, you blah blah blah, yeah. Then we have Challenge Simon, where you would get one signal, then add another one to the sequence, repeat that sequence, and add another one. I really don't know what the heck you do in this one. Lastly, we have Group Simon, where each player chooses a color button, and when repeating the sequence, each player can only press their color. It's half teamwork and half versus, because the last person playing wins, and colors can get eliminated. Now we flip it over and see the 8-button side. Each game mode only supporting 2 players. First is called Double Simon, where each player gets one side of the thingy and repeats their sequences until one fails and the other wins. Second is Ultimate Simon, where both players get the same sequence, and the first to play the sequence correctly gets a point. If both players do it wrong, no points are scored. First player to 10 points wins. Then we have Extreme Simon, where it's basically just Classic Simon, but each player alternates turns, and Counterattack Simon, where each player adds one extra signal to the sequence. And why did you call it Simon Squared? Do you like math?
There were too many buttons on one side, so I was like, wait, why don't you just put the buttons on the other side? And everyone loved it. They fired my boss because of it. I didn't get promoted or anything.
And that's what's up with the yellow electric frisbee. But do you think you've seen the end of Super Simon? No, because in 2003, Super Simon was released again, but the whole thing was different. It had 6 buttons instead of 8, and was in a hexagon shape. There were 6 game modes, which of course, has the classic game mode. But there's also one where you make the pattern, it repeats it back to you, and you gotta keep repeating the pattern you made without error, while adding an extra signal each time. Then we have multiplayer mode, which is literally just Ultimate Simon from the previous one. Then there's Hidden Signals, which is the exact same thing as Classic Simon, but instead of one color being lit, every color is lit except for the one you need to press. And the 5th game is a mode where you have to figure out what the sequence is 1 minute. Each time you choose the correct color in the sequence, it plays a good sound, but if you choose the wrong one, you have to redo the whole thing and guess the right one. And then the last game mode is just regular Simon, except it adds 2 signals to the sequence each time instead of just 1. And that's it. This one wasn't as creative as the other ones. So in 2006, we got drumsticks. Yellow drumsticks. This one was called Simon Sticks with an X, but instead of pressing a button, you swing a stick in a specific motion, and not too late. Red means tapping one stick, green means tapping the other, yellow means tapping both sticks, and blue means crossing over both sticks at the blue ovals. And there's 4 different beats to choose from. Then there's the Beat Simon game mode, which I think is the exact same thing as the first game mode, except you start at 4 signals. What? Yep,
Yeah,
that's what I meant by tricky. Then there's a freestyle mode. Guess what it does?
I'm winning! I'm winning!
The next year, Simon Tricks was released. This one looks like the regular Simon game, which is one of the game modes it includes. But the other game modes have tricks. Like Simon Bounce, which is regular Simon, except colors can bounce across lenses. I'm not really sure what that means. I mean, I'm just reading off the game's manual because that's the best way to find info about all these Simon games. There's not as much information about them as you think. Then there's Simon Surprise, where each button has the same sound and color, so you have to memorize by location. Whoa, that's a really big twist. Now instead of memorizing color red, I have to memorize a location. But is that really that hard? You could assign numbers to each lens if you wanted, and it would probably make it easier. But I haven't played it, so don't take my word for it. Stupid. And then there's Simon Rewind, where you repeat the sequence in reverse instead, and that's it.
You know what? I'm sick of all this memory gameplay. I want little puzzle cubes I can stack on my palms whenever I get bored playing regular Simon.
We got Simon Flash.
What?
This one was really weird. It was 4 little cubes that connected together and played 4 games. One of them was Classic Simon, but the other were more like time-based puzzle mini-games that used the rearranging feature with all the cubes. Like Simon Shuffle, where the cubes flash a color combination, then switch up colors, and you have to put them in the right order. Then Simon Lights Off, where you line up each cube to be in their secret lights off position, and keep doing rounds of that until the game ends after 90 seconds. Last is Simon Secret Color, where you gotta rearrange each cube until they make the same color. Apparently this is the worst one in the series, and the whole Flash thing was a short line. We have Simon Flash, but also Scrabble Flash and Yahtzee Flash, which I've heard are way better. Why did you make Simon Flash?
Okay, so it was a company meeting. I was playing with my little ice cubes like usual. Then J-Earl came in, pointed straight at me, said, "Hey, that could be a game." And everyone loved it. He didn't work at the company and he was trespassing, so now he's in jail though, but he's in some of our hearts now.
So after all that, it only makes sense to go back to the basics. But what doesn't make sense is adding a stupid gimmick to the basics. But in 2013, we got Simon Swipe, and I own this one, but I don't know where it is. And also, it might be the least documented one online. All I know is that there were 4 game modes on this one. One was just regular tapping without the sliding gimmick that sometimes didn't work. One was the levels game mode, which was regular Simon with the sliding gimmick, where you would slide your finger across 1 or more lenses. And this game mode is 16 levels. Wowza. But then there's Extreme Mode, which is harder, and Party Mode, where you could play with more people.
This is so boring. I swear, if the next Simon model is just regular Simon with some stupid gimmick and 4 game modes you can barely differentiate from, I'm gonna start screaming.
In 2014, we got the Simon Micro Series, which is basically just a re-released Pocket Simon, except there's no table for your P's, no skill level, no game modes, except for the classic one, and a built-in multiplayer passing mode.
But that's okay. I have this one.
But I've basically said everything about this version already. I mean, there's things where you press more than 1 lens at the same time, but I don't know if those are exclusive to this one, and it keeps track of high scores, and you can see what your high score is by holding all 4 buttons at the same time. And the Pass It multiplayer mode has a groovy jingle. that's really it. It's just kind of a nothing burger, so we really need to step up the game. In 2016, we got Simon Air, which is a regular Simon game, but instead of touching the lens, you hover your hands near them. But don't worry, because they added cool gameplay elements with them too, like swoops, which are basically just swipes from Simon's Swipe repurposed for the hovering thing. Then there's double scoops, where yellow and green light up, and you hover one hand near both at the same time, then bring both hands near red. There's also the crossover, which is pretty much the alternate version of a double swoop, where you put one hand on yellow, one on red, and bring them both to green. But then there's two-player mode, where two players alternate each move in the sequence, but there's also some new moves, like the quad, in which both players work together to activate all four colors at the same time, and the hold, where one player holds their hands over yellow and red, and the other has to hover their hands over green and then blue, or blue and then green, depending on whatever the sequence was. But then there's single-player classic mode, which doesn't have any moves except for the regular singles. It's supposed to be a practice mode, but I just don't see it having any purpose.
I was able to get so much info on how to play this one because there's an official tutorial on the Hasbro YouTube channel, and for some reason it has a lot of YTP potential.
You hear that sound? It means that the game is about to start. Yes! Now for the games themselves. As you ace the singles, the moves get a little trickier. It's called a double. What? Yeah, that's what I meant by tricky. Now we're on to the double swoop. This is a massive workout for your hands and your brain. Well, not really. And player 2 misses it.
The next game, released in 2017, called Simon Optics, also had a tutorial video, but it wasn't funny. It was more like those instructional videos you see before you play laser tag.
The thing with Simon Optics, it was friggin' crazy.
You're telling me they took this big circle toy, and then almost 40 years later, it became a visor you wore on your head?
This is too futuristic for me. I'm gonna start sweating.
So for this one, you repeated a sequence by waving over the visor with your hands, specific part of the visor. And there were also swoops here too, where you swooped your hand around, and double swoops as well. But here's the big thing, there's wireless multiplayer.
It's literally just a last one standing game mode, and that's all we got. That's the last Simon game, and so now all we got is Max Memory Master from
Shilling. Why'd you make Simon Optics?
I got really, really drunk while watching Tron 2012 and Spy Kids all at the same time. So here's my message to Hasbro. Do you remember the long string of numbers from the beginning? I bet you don't. You don't. I bet you don't. Losers. And also, is Simon Eric inspired from Metal Loops? Because, like, they're, like, really similar. So it, like, has to be, right?
Everybody says that my name is John.
So there's John.
It's Bob. My name is John. It's Bob. So don't you do the best. Okay.
You can't just expect me to not give you any prize for Here's another stupid freestyle I made for a video that I never actually started on. It was just kind of there.
Welcome to the bounce back.
Lyrical lemonade. We
Call
love
me a
Mexico.
narcissist and then that dough. Everybody says I'm starting slow, but it's not, because I'm not slow. I'm pretty fast. You know. This is a bounce back. This is a bounce back.
Everett, I'm trying to do a freestyle.
People ask me how I do it. I just bite off more than I can chew. And chew it. Everybody knows I got bucks to see. I got $5. It's nice.
6, 7, 6, 7.
Oh. I got $2,600 in fountain. It's good. Bye bye.